We're live. Oh, I got to do the little.
It's time for Roll for Combat.
Can you hear that? Can you hear that, Derik?
I can hear it just a little bit from your end, but
good
not
enough.
barely. Yeah.
Barely. So I just heard the saddest news to start off the new year that Derik Malenda has never
sad.
been to Disney World or Disneyland ever. Jess, get at him. Jess isn't on yet, but Jess's favorite place on earth. I have been there hundreds and hundreds of times.
Okay, listen. I grew up just poor enough that or just wealthy enough that my parents were basically barely considered middle class, but super lower middle class.
Oh, that's fine. What about now?
Well, no, I'm just saying. So we never went as a family, as a kid. So I was never indoctrinated into it as a young kid. And then I am just not. I've never been a big, super big Disney person.
What about amusement parks?
Then I didn't have, so then growing up in Ohio, we have Cedar Point.
Cedar Point's awesome.
Which is about 45 minutes away from me.
Oh my God. And, Cedar Point's fantastic.
America's roller coaster.
Yeah.
And I've been there,
Okay. All right. That's fair. That's a great road. That's a great park. That's a great park.
And so as growing up, if I wanted to go on roller coasters, I went to Cedar Point, which many people consider to be one of the premier roller coaster parks in the United States. And so I never really felt the need then. And then as an adult, it was flat. And then I didn't have kids. And then by the time my friends started going, it was because they had kids. They're going with their family. I'm not going to tag along.
You know what? So you and me, we're going to go to Disney World. I'm going to make it a point that you, me, and Jess. Come on, that would be fun.
I've never been to Universal, and
Universal's amazing.
That would probably be way more up my alley.
It actually is. Well, that's more for teenagers. Like if you
that's me.
Yeah, that's like a teenager place. Actually, it's really good. I'm a big amusement park person, and my son became one of those people. Hold on a second. Someone would have clicked faster if they knew Derik was on, as opposed to the opposite, which is
wow, look at that.
I know, as opposed to Derik's on. I'm not watching that one. You see, that's why. Oh wait, here I forgot I can do this there. Well, the only reason I didn't put his face on is because we usually get the opposite. No, I'm only kidding.
Wrong.
I'm not wrong. So when I brought Adam, my son, and he was like 2, and I was pushing him around in a stroller, and he just sat there like this, watching the roller coasters with his mouth open for hours. That's like all he did. It's just he just wanted to sit there and watch it. And I said, uh-oh. And I knew it. And now he can name not only what roller coaster and said what park, he can tell you the manufacturer of the roller coasters. He knows he's like us with TTRPGs, but with roller coasters.
Yeah, I used to be really, I was one of those guys that was really into, again, Cedar Point, and I went to a bunch of roller coaster parks.
He's always wanted to go to Cedar Point.
I've been to whatever one's in, there's one in Virginia. And I've been there, and I've been to Kings Island, Cincinnati. I've been around.
Okay,
but not as much, because of now it's ridiculous. Well, okay. The other thing is I grew up at a time where I was a kid, so it didn't matter. And then when I became an adult, my friends and I all made just enough money that we were doing well for ourselves, that we would all buy the fast passes. And this is before when fast passes were still good.
Yeah,
they hadn't figured it out yet, and they hadn't optimized it for monetary gain.
It's so ridiculous now. At Fast Pass you have to pay for now on top of it. It's so bad.
Well, that's what I'm saying. No, it's so at Cedar Point. I remember the first year they introduced the Fast Pass, and we bought it, and they just let you go in up the exit. That was the way. There was no Fast Pass line. There was no special Fast Pass line or time. You could just go up the exit, and you had the special pass. And I remember, we rode this roller coaster 8 times in a row, and we were literally walking back. We would keep walking past the same people who were in line.
Yeah, exactly.
And you could see the hatred, growing in their faces. And that made it so much sweeter. And then, but then eventually now it's like they made it priced to a point where it's like everybody gets it. And so now that everybody has it, it's almost pointless. It's the whole thing. Anyway, so I don't go anymore.
No problem.
Also, all my friends have kids. They don't go. So what am I going to do? Ride roller coasters by myself? That sounds boring.
No, you know what you do? You go to TTRPG conventions with me.
That is true.
It's the next best thing.
I have replaced the thrill of an 80-degree, incline dive on a dive coaster of a 200-foot drop reaching speeds of 90 miles per hour. I have replaced that with the thrill of Stephen Glicker and Mark Seifter. It's honestly, it's very comparable. It's nearly the same thing.
Nearly. There we go. So I'm sick, everyone. I got sick right after your stream, and I finally went to the doctor because I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm going to Florida, which is one of those vacations because it's Florida, and then I'm also seeing my parents for half of it. So it's one of those vacations. It's one of those working vacations, we call them. You gotta see the folks. Hold on, my thing is going crazy.
Ryan Alboa, yes, I saw that this morning on EN World. Very sad.
Oh yeah.
That Tim Kask died.
I saw that,
I met him a couple times actually at Gen Con. I think the first time I met him, I think he was over at the auction.
It's really getting sad now because I'm just seeing some. It's really getting bad. Like I just see so many people that are just so old, and you just don't remember them. This sounds different, but I actually saw they had a.
That's me every time I look in the mirror, buddy.
I know, but no, like I saw. The Drew Carey show. It was like, the guys for the 4 people from the Drew Carey show were back doing like a retrospective. They were ancient. They look like they all look like they were like in their 90s. I was like, oh my God. I was like, that show was from the 90s. It wasn't that long ago. You see all these shows, and I'm just thinking it's really, these next couple of years are going to get bad.
It's an inevitable fact of life that, I remember, just recently I just saw the recent, celebrities, aka important people who passed, in 2025.
Yeah. And
I remember growing up, like, you'd see these things and it'd be a bump and a bunch of like, Esther, Gertrude, Ruthia, people I didn't know, I'm like, I had no clue who they were. And now I'm at that age where it's all like, oh, wow, no, not Gene Hackman, oh, no, not, Diane Keaton, oh, no, not so and so forth, Boyko says D&D is 50 plus years old. It's incredible as guys are still alive. I mean, that's true. D&D is 50 years old.
Not really, because they were all in their young 20s when they started D&D.
Oh, yeah, Tim Kask was like
they're
78.
all in their 70s now.
He was like 78. The other thing is, they were Midwestern guys from Milwaukee. A lot of them weren't exactly what I would call the peak of human physical conditioning.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, in fact, I finally went to go see a doctor. And I never get sick. In fact, she's like, you have nothing on your chart. I'm like, I know, thank God, because I rarely ever get sick. It turned out it was, after all that, it's just a sinus infection, which I guess is being sick, but it's incredibly annoying. I'll leave it at that. So, but hopefully in a few more days it'll clear up.
I gotta stop by. I made an appointment for my dentist. Unfortunately, next week, one of my back teeth has been bothering me. It's a tooth I've already had like work done on, fillings and stuff.
So welcome to the end of your review, where all we do is complain about how old we are. We're old, and we got another year coming, and we're getting up there. Got to enjoy as much gaming as you can before the inevitable.
Mr. Blawface wants to know: are you going to pay?
Yes, probably. Yes, I'm supposed to. I don't have a hotel room, but I'm supposed to be going.
I am not, Mr. Blawface. Yeah. I need to rest, recover before the convention season starts. I need to kick off a bunch of stuff for my channel so that I don't run out of money. And then I also need to hunker down in the new year and make sure I wanted to get my weight down to 220 this year, and I did not succeed. So I still got about 20 something pounds to go. So need to be like one of those people who gets in the gym. The good news is that because I have an normal schedule, I can go to the gym in the middle of the day and I don't have to, actually, Joshua, you mentioned when's my racquetball. That's been part of the problem. We have not, this holiday season, my buddy I play with, he's a floor manager at a big fish market. And he this time of year is just super busy for them. Everyone ordering all their big seafood orders for the holidays. So basically between Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, like he's always super duper busy. And then I traveled and I got sick. And then I had horrible tennis elbow. I remember I was talking with Steven's wife about it when I was staying at their house. And I had to miss a few weeks because of my tennis elbow. And anyways, long story short, I have not been playing much. So I probably won't get to play until I'm hoping I can play next week, but we'll see. Did I meet Anatoly, the cleaner in the gym? No, but that'd be cool if I did. Volcano, that guy's awesome. Although I don't deadlift anymore because it just always hurts my back, and I don't plan on powerlifting anytime soon. So I just avoid deadlifting, which isn't to say that you shouldn't work your hip hinge motion movement, but I don't do deadlifts.
All right,
I just do RDLs or something.
I didn't do this last week. I tried to go through some things going on in RFC world, but as soon as I did, my computer crashed. So let's see if this happens again. Oh, but I still have you as discourse, but whatever. You can be discourse. Whoops.
Wait, no, not. It says Derik Malenda on the thing.
No, I changed it. So I forgot to do it because I'm lazy. You can be discourse. You can be discourse minis.
Yeah, drama is everywhere and everything's on fire. And Watsy's the worst people I've ever seen in my entire life. Yeah.
That was worse. I don't even know what that was, like a Croatian accent. That was not Irish. That wasn't even close.
Well, look, I didn't say. Look, I didn't say I was a voice actor. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad because you would have been fired if you said that. So let's see. So right now, you guys can vote. Vote for the most popular, vote for the RPG you are most excited for. Irish. And you can go and vote for whatever you want. But for the first time ever, one of my games is on there, which is Deathbringer. And supposedly it's a 4-way tie for the top 4. I could probably guess what they are. So vote if you can. Vote for Deathbringer or vote for whatever the hell you want. There's a whole bunch of games on there. People usually say what they vote for, so I think I know what the top 4 are, but it would be pretty cool. I am starting to get some art in, and I can show you. First of all, that's the new logo for Deathbringer, and I actually think it came out. I have this guy who does my logos, and he got it in one. He got a hole in one, because sometimes I got to go through several rounds because logos are very complex. I actually took a whole course just on logo design in college. It's incredibly complex logo design, and he did it one shot. Unbelievable. He's really good, so I commend you. But check this out. So if you watched my latest video from yesterday where I got scammed by AI artists and showed you how to protect yourself against AI artists if you're looking to hire any artists and what to look out for, I just used my regular artists, and he actually even showed you the time lapse of him creating this. So we're looking for art that's very reminiscent of the Conan style, and little bit of fun, tongue in cheek, not too serious. So this is the Doom Scribe, and you can see vote early and vote often for RFC. Thank you. And this is the Doom Scribe, and yeah, I think he actually hit it out of the park with this one because she looks really good. She looks little Conan-esque, little 70s, and she actually, it's pretty cool. You can see on her arms, they cast all their spells from tattoos. They tattoo all their spells on their bodies. So,
edgy.
Edgelord. She's very edgelord. So, and then of course
there's a lot of stuff that's OSR coded that's very edgy and edgelordy.
Oh God, of course. But we're gonna lean into it heavily. Yeah, but it's I think that's what's been missing is that we're trying to do the fun of D&D 70s. Remember, that's like the fun part of D&D. It's like we're leaning really into it and just making it not too serious. Like
I know, but it's a whole separate topic.
You don't like the OSR?
No, it's just that again, people have this. I don't think it should be called old OSR. I guess it's new OSR now, but like
whatever.
Because D&D and was Qual's feather tokens and Big B's hands and color sprays. It wasn't this like doom, death, dark, super mega uber like thing that I think people portray it as, or at least the rules weren't portrayed that way.
No, I'm talking about the art. I'm just talking about the art. It's very yeah. I'm talking about the art.
I mean, if you're talking like Frank Frazetta era stuff,
that's
we
are.
Yeah, of course, that's cool. I mean, Frazetta stuff was pretty serious.
That's the style we're looking for. We're looking for that, but we'll add a little touch of humor, kind of like the Dragon magazine covers. If you remember, a lot of them had that Frank I can't pronounce the name. I'm sick. Yeah, style.
Yeah, or Boris Vallejo or whatever.
Yeah, Vallejo style. But they would also be very funny, some of their covers. Not all of them, but some of them. And, that's where we're going for the old Dragon magazine covers. Right. So
sometimes the heavily muscular, oiled man with the girls with the chainmail bikinis tied up would also be telling a joke.
I didn't say they all were telling a joke. I said some were. Well, all I'm saying is that is what he wanted, and he actually, as we flip to Eldamon, and when by the way,
this will be really nice at the booth.
It's going to be funny.
Can we get a lifestyle?
I know it's going to be Deathbringer, Blood and Guts, chainmail bikinis, plushies, next to each other, because it takes all types.
I will go to the furry con if I have a Squirrel Ash costume. There we go.
Done. That's so easy. I'll call my brother. That's like a nothing burger. That's so easy. I'll go to China. You know how fast I can get you a Squirrel Ash costume made? I'll have my brother. I'll fly him in and get your measurements. Actually, he could do it over. I'm sure he could do it over the internet. My brother.
Yeah, he'll just look at me and go, "Fat." All right, I'll be like, "Yes, that is correct."
He'll do all your measurements. We'll get the costume. You are,
Joshua. You are 100% correct. That is what we should be selling.
What?
Dice.
I do sell dice, and you know how many people buy it? 0, because no one.
Yeah, because they're not $100.
Oh. You know what? You might be right. I got to start raising my prices. So right now we got Battlezoo.
If we had like, I'm trying to think of something crazy. Like if we had dice made out of like burnt wood or something like
everyone does
for Deathbringer or something like that. That would be.
Oh, we have death dice. There's death dice and.
No, but I mean Deathbringer dice. Fine, make them out of
They
ebony.
look like they're made out of bone. Yeah, they do. They do. We're doing that.
Ours are made out of actual petrified bone. We literally took the bones.
It's actually illegal. I looked into it. You can't do it. Well, you know why?
What about animal bone?
It's illegal. I'll tell you why. Right. Because if you inhale bone dust,
I believe
it can kill you.
Yeah, I believe
it's very toxic. So that's why it's basically a toxic substance. You can do it for dogs because those are dried bones, and that's different. Those go through chemical processes.
Right, there you go. Congealed blood. There we go.
It would just bounce. So I used to sell dice because no one buys them. Everyone says they do, but not. Doesn't matter because for me, it's not part of my core thing. I don't know. I'll look into it. But yeah, look into Battlezoo Eldamon Legends, and for $1, you'll get the special edition book. Look at that, mother. I'm actually having it. I had the printer make it, and they just sent it to me today. I got the shipping label, so I got the FedEx, so it's going to be in my hands. So I'll get to show you what it looks like. That's how dedicated I am. And look, Air Legends. Look at that. That's a new cover. Look at that cover. That's a cool one. We got all the Air Legends. Oh, they're all flying. Got this new guy. He's really good. And you know what we started today? Actually, it started last week, but I was sick, so I didn't post it. The Dungeon Design Contest for use with Shadowdark. Dude, you got to check out that website. Go to contest.rollforcombat.com. Me and my coder, we did that in 2 days, man. We programmed that whole website. It allows you to enter a contest. It's really good. There's a whole back end.
I may have to reach out to you. I want to experiment for my next mega game, and I want to try to, because we've always managed stuff through like Discord and Google Sheets. It's terrible. And so I've been thinking about maybe doing a more of like a web interface for people with the game.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, for the mega game. I mean,
it's so easy. It's so easy.
Well, yeah, you say it's so easy because you've been doing it for 20, 30 years and you ran the entire, your whole freaking empire of Glicker is based off of web development. So yeah, it's easy for you.
As I said, it's so easy.
I wrote a Flash page once in college. Does that make me just as qualified?
Could be. Of course, now it's not up.
Well, it's pretty sweet.
What's going on? I don't see it. I don't see the site. I wonder why. Oh, there it is. What? Contest. I gotta see.
All right, never mind. I'm doing it on my own. Apparently, it doesn't work.
It just was. I don't know. I'll look into it. That is so. Oh, I know why. Because it's at a different URL. It's at a different URL.
It redirected me to your Kickstarter.
Hold on, I'll give you the right URL because I changed it. I forgot. Because I'm a moron. And
you heard it here, folks.
We got the 5e version ready, almost ready. So I'll be sending that out soon. But that is our adventure that we'll do one adventure every 3 years at this rate. So because we are so slow.
I feel like you've been talking about this adventure for a very, very long time.
Because it's awesome. It's because I love adventures, but it's just there's so much work. That's the thing. It's like the thing that was the easiest thing to do. The one that's the easiest. What do you think is the easiest thing to do?
For me, like to make?
Book. What's the easiest book to make? By far?
Well, I'm going to say, like to design or like the whole process?
Whole process. Beginning to end.
Okay, well, not adventure. And normally I would say bestiary because each monster is just sort of individual. But because each monster needs its own art, like that actually requires a lot of extra work. I'm going to say like a class or an ancestry.
Look that. No, those are all hardest. Lore books. Lore books are super easy.
Well, okay, yeah, all right, fine. That doesn't. Yeah,
that does count.
That's not even a book.
Yeah, it is. Oh my God, look at all these Lost Omen books behind me that beg to differ. That's all Lost Omen books is lore books.
I know.
And half of the books I
still say they're not books.
Well, they are books, but yeah, the lore books are easy because
I mean, if we've extended the definition to it has a cover and pages, then yes.
Okay, whatever.
Oh,
here's the dungeon design. It's dungeondesign.rollforcombat.com. So here we go. Dungeon, you can check it out. Dungeon design contest here. Check that out. Right. But they're so much fun. They're so much fun, but there's so much work. Like the work to satisfaction return ratio on adventures is probably the worst of all of them by far. And then finally, today's the last day. If you want to get the Enigmite, which is basically you play a Cthulhu tentacled horror that you have no control over your own body. Today's the last day. If you go to yourmysteries.com, you can still back it today and you'll get it. But otherwise, you'll have to wait till December. You have to wait a year. So do it now. And then Will-O-Wisps comes out soon. That comes out in the beginning of the month. So there you go. Oh, man. I'm tired. What about dice made from the excess dirt evacuated from the graves of the recently deceased? Hey, man, you make those and I'll buy them from you. Okay?
All of those seem very appropriate. All those seem very appropriate.
Is there a Jeanette Ladinus Cube or a Karen Crawler in your dungeon? Who said there's a dungeon? So
you're saying in your game?
Yeah, on my game. No, because all the monsters in my books are original. We never use ever monsters that you can find anywhere else. Because if you can, then what's the fun of that? I mean, that's boring. So all of our monsters are original monsters.
My philosophy is so different from yours. See, I would much rather fight the monster that we know. In fact, I like to fight the same monster again and again so that you can start to learn it and master it. But I am a weirdo. And anyone who watches my show
gets bored after 3 times of seeing the same monster.
I know.
But you're not average, I guess.
I know.
You're abnormal.
I've been fighting orcs and trolls and ogres and giants and skeletons and wights and ghouls and wraiths carrying crawlers my whole life, and you know what? Still not sick of them.
So we'll go through it. So where's Nimble?
I'm the shelf behind me.
I know Nimbles is right behind me too. They met on that thumbnail. I just couldn't fit everything on there because if I tried to fit everything on there, holy moly! If you look, so I actually did something. I took a look. This has happened in video games, and it happened in TV. Not as much, but it happened in video games and it happened in TTRPGs. It was the combination of the OGL, not that there was an OGL in video games, but the pandemic caused a lot of people to stop stuff. And now a lot of things came out this year that got delayed because of the pandemic. So we had much, much more items come out this year than usual. And this happened in both categories. But then you have the OGL on top of it, because I don't care what anyone says, and they can say all they want about Daggerheart was planned all along. Bullshit. Daggerheart was 100% oh my God, if we lose our license or something to D&D, we all go out of business, and we need to hedge our bets against that. That's 100% what that was. I'm sure it was already in development and they were thinking about it. It wasn't that they just decided to do it, but the OGL accelerated things heavily, not just for them, but for everyone, because, oh, Jess just showed up. She said, I'm here to hear what Derik has to say about theme park.
All I said was that I've never been to Disney World or Disneyland, and I never saw the purpose or the appeal. That's all. But because again, I grew up down the street from what is considered one of the premier roller coaster parks in America. So not down the street, but it's like 30, 40 minutes away.
So anyhow, with that, oh my God. So I'm just going through the list. There's so many things. I think I'm just going through the list of the things that I see in my feed. We have Vagabond came out. We have Warhammer 40K.
The old world.
Imperium Medicalis Adaptus Mechanics Player's Guide. Curseborn. New version of Alien came out. Legends of the Mist. Daggerheart. I think a new version of 13 Age came out this year.
Second edition. I just got mine books in the mail the other day.
So Dolemwood, of course. I'm just going literally through the list here. Labyrinth Lord Revised came out, so that's a new version.
Yeah. Who cares about that?
Expanded. I'm just going down the list, man. We got Stormlight,
some of these are
Stormlight Archive, Fabula Ultima. Not that they came out with the new edition, but they did come out with an expansion. That was pretty big.
Natural Fantasy.
Mythic Bastionland. We have that one.
Of course. Not only do I own all of these games, I have covered all of these games.
That's why that's why I thought it was a good topic for you. They did come out with the new box set for Paranoia, Land of Beam.
Yeah, we just covered that last night.
Yeah, I know. You guys got like 5% through it. I was watching the whole stream. I'm like, you're not even getting through. You barely scratched the surface of that game.
No, we covered all of the mechanics. And we covered all of the, we did one class, and we covered a couple of the ancestries, and we covered a couple of the monsters, and we covered the play pattern of the conflict and adventure phase. We didn't go into the campaign setting, the Mucklands. That was a separate goal.
That's like the main part of that game, by the way. Corey
I'm going to put Delusion King. I'm going to put Grimwild in parentheses or quotation marks because it'll never see the print ever. But yes, Coriolis, we just covered that a couple weeks ago.
I'm literally just trying to find everything I can find that came out. Hold on, I'm looking. Well, look at I had a better list. Where did my better list go? All right. Well, we have here. Did you cover Korthos Cthulhu, the Player's Guide?
No,
that's new.
Well,
the Crooked Moon,
which Moon. I didn't cover, but we did look. I did look at when we were at the hotel at PAX.
That book is so good that it's too good and should have been 3 books. It's that good. They actually messed it up by making it
I was fairly impressed.
Very impressed. I told you when we were walking, I was looking, I was like,
that being said, now that I've had a chance to explore Eam and the Muckland setting and And Dolmenwood,
yeah,
less impressive. Dolmenwood's pretty nice.
Oh, Dolmenwood is sick. We got D&D, of course. They had the Heroes of Faerun came out, but they had the Monster Manual. They finished up their 2024 expansion this year. Daggerheart, which I said, Draw Steel. Dungeons and Kitties, which I know you definitely covered, right?
No, I did not cover that one. No, you did not
cover.
No,
you know
what
I
did cover Draw Steel.
Exodus.
In fact, I hesitate to say I am the #1 Draw Steel dungeon tuber. I don't know that that's true, and I have nothing to back that up, but I don't know that there's anybody who's made more content for Draw Steel than I have, which isn't to say that I covered it a ton. I mean, I did. But.
How about the Exodus?
That new game from... No.
Yeah,
it's 5e. We don't cover 5e.
Starfinder, 2e?
We did cover that. We covered all the classes. Love it. Class design, great.
That one was sick. How good that is.
Very nice book.
That's a really good book. There's a lot that came out. If there's anything you guys specifically want us to talk about, let us know. But why don't you start, because I'm getting sick here. Why don't you tell me what you think of the fun year that we had?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm going to be doing my own year-end retrospective. I mean, we're going to cover a couple different categories. We're going to be doing the Golden Knights. I'm going to be giving away my completely subjective biased, just like Ian World, just like the Ennies. It'll be completely subjective and biased, and completely subject to my whims. But I'm going to be doing a couple different categories on my show as well. But one of the things that we definitely took away from a big part of my show has always been first looks. And sometimes, I will admit, sometimes my first looks are on games that are very old. I've just never gotten a chance to look at them. I've played a lot of games. I own a lot of games. There's still games out there that it's like, wow, that game's been out there for 5 years, 6 years. I never got a chance to play it or look at it.
Dark Crystal.
But this year, that came out this year. One of the things that really struck me as I was looking through my backlog of videos this year was, wow, we had a lot of games that came out. And I was like behind the 8 ball. Like I was barely I had barely gotten through Daggerheart and Cosmere. And then it kind of shadow dropped. Draw Steel just kind of dropped while we were all at Gen Con, and it was like, damn, now I got to cover this. There was so much more.
Too much.
So there was as a content creator who really tries to keep my finger on the pulse and my heartbeat on the zeitgeist. It was kind of tough. There was a lot of games, and of course, outside of that, we cover games that aren't just the super duper mega mainstream ones. So games like Eam and Dolmenwood and Coriolis, so stuff from Free League, stuff from Cubicle, stuff from Modifius, you name it. Small independent publishers and all that other stuff. It has a lot of stuff happening, and I mean that's probably a good thing.
Oh, when Star Trek Second Edition came out, forgot about that one.
I will say, yeah, we covered the first edition. I didn't go back and cover the second edition yet. Although the second edition is a significant design improvement, because the first edition they decided to be like really Star Trek-y, and they printed it using this like LCARS layout. That's like the layout of Star Trek. I know it is. I'm saying for other people, but that meant that the book was all black, and it was like really hard to read. So they did a better job with the printing on second edition. They also dropped the effect die, and the effect die was stupid in the mechanics. So they basically continued it. They basically just took 2D20, what they did with Dune, and they just updated it, Star Trek, to be more like Dune, which is good. Anyways, but I will say my community is, I've been doing this for a couple of years now, and my community is firmly based, Roll for Combat community, such as it is obviously
Such that it is. Fuck you, man. What's that mean? Such that it is.
Okay. Here. If you're a member of the Knights of the Last Call community, you call yourself a knight.
Right.
What's the term used for someone who's a member of the Roll for Combat community?
Cool dude.
I say you don't have one. So say, anyways.
It's a cool dude.
Well, no, what I'm going to say is that the Roll for Combat community, and I'm such as it is, meaning like it's not like there is
a roller, like a roller coaster.
Your community is based off of publication and product. Are firmly in the plan. Firmly in the realm of Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition and Pathfinder 2nd edition, the number 1 and number 2 RPGs, in the game. Now, obviously, you're now getting into the game with a third product,
3 as well.
But you're choosing Shadowdark, and it's backed by Professor Dungeon Master. So, I mean, it's not like you're not like you're aiming low here.
I never do. Why would I aim low? Then I would just be you.
Then you would be me. Yes. Well, what I'm trying to say is, so we've been trying to do this we've been doing this for a long time, and so I have experienced by myself personally, Derik personally, but I've also sometimes feel bad for the people who watch my channel for many reasons. But one of the reasons is that I will introduce them to a game, and all these new games come out, and they see the game and they go, "Oh shit, this is going to be amazing." And they get super excited about it. And Derik is talking about it. And Derik is really excited about it. And they get really excited about it. And then that's when they find out that no one will ever play this game.
True.
And so that's the problem. That and not only that, but the world isn't made for you. There's no demi-plane access. There's no thick Roll20 Foundry module. You know what I mean? You're on your own. You're lucky if you're able to get by with it, unlike some other game. And there's no massive Discord for you, and there's no whatever. So it can be very so while I am obviously all about new games, I think that, and I've seen this in my own community, is that people sometimes replace I've seen this in Magic the Gathering. People take the hobby of role-playing games, and it goes from a playing to a collecting.
Mm-hmm.
And people start to collect role-playing games instead of playing them.
Yeah, and well, if you enjoy it, who cares?
No, of course, absolutely. But I'm just saying that one of the things that you have to be aware of is just that, unfortunately, as cool as all, and I love that people get hyped about these new games. I'm hyped about them, but I'm saying I've been down this road before, and so for all these new people who might be like really excited about this kind of neogenesis of not just small publishers, but medium to small publishers, people like MCDM and Derik Press, and Brotherwise, or whoever, very cool. And you have these really nice bespoke products coming out from Exalted Funeral and oh God, what's it called? Something. Whoever made Land of Eam, but like. Understand and realize that it will just never be you're not going to be able to go down to your local shop and no one's ever going to see know what you're talking about. So yeah.
Well, first of all, we had a super chat, so let's go back to that real quick.
Okay.
We had Mr. Blawface. I had an idea from your talk last week and wanted to see your input on it. You are releasing Deathbringer so that it's compatible with Shadowdark. Do you think it would be good for WotC to do the same with D&D? If you watch our show from last week, I believe that's exactly what they're doing. And thanks to Derik, who came up with the idea, and I'm running with it. It's that I believe that they are going to come out
everyone else steals your ideas all the time. It's a nice change of pace that you get to steal mine. I think that's well deserved.
Yeah, but I'm giving you full credit.
I know. I respect it.
No, I think they are. I think they're going to come out with like settings. I don't know what you call it, shards, settings, whatever you want. Take kind of the shard idea from Daggerheart and come up with worlds, and they'll come out with a gritty OSR Shadowdark classic. As we said last week that it would, 2 weeks ago, we call it classic D&D. They don't even need to come up with a world; just come up with a theme, a name, and that's it. And then it just is like D&D 5th edition with some rules changed, and that's it. And it's kind of what they used to do with the settings. When they came out with the setting books, is that they would add more rules. Did they take away rules in some of those? I have to imagine they must have.
I mean, Dark Sun took away the entire cleric class. So
I was thinking about Dark Sun took away most magic, right? So,
well, it changed the way that arcane magic worked. It added psionics as a fully supported play pattern, and then it removed the divine magic because the gods were all dead.
There you go. So I think they're going to go that route, and it makes sense because this way they can combat all these different games that are coming out, because we're not the only ones that are looking and saying, oh my God, there's a lot of games coming out. And you can say all you want, D&D's never going to die. Let me tell you something. Everything ends, okay? Everything ends. And I mean everything. It might be in 50 years, it might be in 100. But D&D will die one day. It's going to happen, okay? And the good example is, if you look at the Dow 30, and those are the 30 biggest companies in the world from 100 years ago. And I think only one of them even exists, let alone those companies don't even exist anymore, except for one. And that's it, General Electric. All the others are gone. And there's just so many examples of that. Like, I like to look at channels or like going through empires you've never heard of that own like half the world, things like that. Like, there's languages that are dead that used to, like Latin used to be everywhere. Doesn't exist. It's like everything will end. So if they're smart, they will realize that they have to continuously be nervous and they have to continuously be wary. And if they are, they'll do something like this. And if not, one day, somehow, some way, in some weird way that we'd never expect, D&D will lose out, and it'll happen, and it will be unexpected. And if they try to react, it'll be too late. So I think this is what they're going to do. Personally,
Wolf Instead. I don't know if I can post links. I don't know if I have the permission to do so.
Whoops. Have you read 13th Age Second Edition yet?
Yeah, I just clapped. I just pasted a link. I don't know if it sends. I don't know if I have permission.
I haven't.
You sent it?
Send what?
The link.
What link?
I don't know if I have permission to post links in your chat.
Oh, you should. What was it?
Okay. Well, if I did, Wolf Instead, that was our review of second edition 13th Age.
You're an admin. You should be able to.
Okay.
If not, send it to me and I'll post it.
Yeah. Well, let me know if it got blocked. But but we unfortunately, or I should say, it was pretty cool. The folks at Pelgrane, I was working with them during their beta. They sent me an advanced copy. I gave them some thoughts on it because they had seen that I played 13th Age First Edition. I did a number of campaigns, and I had done years ago. I had done a big thing on 13th Age. They had seen that, and they said, "Hey, we know you're a big 13th Age guy. Do you want to take a look at our 13th Age Second Edition?" This is like when it was before it went for playtesting, and I gave them some feedback and thoughts, and they said, "Hey, thanks so much." And so then they sent me, they sent me 2 sets of the box set, so I'll probably give one away.
Cool.
But generally speaking, it's just a cleaned up. I think it's a second edition. I hesitate. I would call it more of a remaster. I don't think it's really a second edition in the sense of like a major change.
So everyone listening, we got 170 people. Pretty good for New Year's Eve.
Right. I forgot it's New Year's Eve.
I know. I know. My wife's like, we were invited to the party. She's like, "Do you want to go?" I'm like, "No, I'm so sick." I'm like, "No, last thing I want to do." And I was like, last thing I want to do is go and talk to people, please. I want to sit here and do nothing. What are you guys playing? What was your favorite thing that happened in 2025? What was your favorite RPG thing, game, experience, anything? It could be that you won a painting competition, or something. It could be anything. I don't really care. I'm just curious to see what people think. I'm not doing a poll because I can't really poll this. But let's start with you, Derik. What was your favorite thing of 2025? Besides getting fired.
I got laid off.
I know. I say that just to make fun of you.
Laid off. I mean, for me, it's ironic. I say this with a twist of irony because I haven't actually fully played it since it's been released.
Someone said their favorite thing was joining the Knights. Look at that.
Oh, Joshua, nice choice. Good choice. I would say for me, in terms of like my...
Yeah, that was fun.
Okay, I'm going to sound horrible here, but my answer is Daggerheart. It's the game that I'm most excited about, and I think it's the game that, for me, represents the best chance for for the game to shift into a new, the hobby to shift into a new space. Now, I say that because there is a part of me, and I've talked a lot about this on my Discord, where with my patrons, which is I understand that this is a big change for people, and I sometimes worry that the people who are coming to Daggerheart are not they're not playing it right, and I and I don't want to like belittle them because they're still having fun, and I think that's what's cool about the system is that you can quote unquote play it wrong and still have fun. But I also think that I don't know that I possess the right language to be able to meet them where they're at because of where their mindset is and where they're coming from. And so while I'm really excited about Daggerheart, I'm also really I'm still struggling with how to best help that community grow, basically. So that was a pretty cool release for me. Of the big releases, the Cosmere and the Draw Steel and the Daggerheart. Daggerheart was definitely the one that sort of topped my list. I've appreciated seeing some of the design changes that have been going into 5th edition. I think the Nimble box set was really impressive. I liked what Evan was doing with that game, and I was happy to see that he went from basically a set of 5e house rules to making his own game, which is really cool. I got a chance to actually play an Eldamon trainer this year. That was pretty cool in PF2. Got to see first. We had 2 Eldamon trainers in our party, so I got to see firsthand how busted they are. I mean, I'm sure. Look, here's what they're
busted, but they're slow.
It would be so awesome, and it would be so powerful, and everybody would go, "There's no way that this is balanced," and everyone would go, "No, it was written by Mark Seifter. It's got we just accepted
so
that like
it's ridiculous.
Like it's the Lord, like it's it's the word of God himself. We're just like, if Mark Seifter says it's good, it's good. Like there's just no ifs and or buts about it. Like
I've played it enough that it's a roller coaster. It's very powerful, but it does not beat out on average a fighter or most melee classes. It feels like it does, but it doesn't, because it hits so freaking hard that it feels like it does, but it just doesn't. The math works. I know the math. It's no more than an average class, maybe a little more than average, but
so that's kind of like in the main space. In the sort of OSR space, I think the last couple of weeks have been very excited with Dolmen Wood and Land of Beam. Now I will freely admit that Dolmen Wood as a system it's just Dolmen Wood is just old school essentials, and old school essentials is just Labyrinth Lord, and Labyrinth Lord is just BX D&D. So there's nothing really revolutionary there, I don't think. But in terms of I hesitate to call it OSR, so I'm going to call it new SR, and that's the term that people have. I do think the Mythic Bastionland was very impressive. I had read Electric Bastionland and Into the Odd, in the years prior, and Electric Bastionland just didn't grip me enough because of the setting and some of the concepts. Mythic Bastionland, because of the tone, because of the genre, because of the setting, I think it did a much better job of really speaking to me and gripping to me. And I'm just so impressed by how much gameplay depth Chris McDowell was able to get with such a small amount of mechanics. Is it the most complicated game or the most complex game? No, but the efficiency of his design, the amount of juice that you're getting for the squeeze has to be some of the highest I've ever seen in my entire life in game design. So props to him on that. So that was pretty cool.
Well,
yeah,
I'm trying to think. I don't know. I mean, mine, I'm different because I had such a different experience. For one, we started running conventions. We started to go to conventions and have a booth for the first time. So that was interesting. Cool. That was new for me and you. So that was something very unique, to say the least. And that was fun. You got to meet a lot of people. Someone said their favorite thing this year was meeting you at the conventions. So, and that was fun.
Yeah, that was fun for me. I mean, I've been going to conventions for over 20 years, and I started going when I was 18. So yeah, almost 25 years. And I'd never worked one before. So that was pretty cool. I got to be behind the booth and kind of got to be behind the scenes. That was pretty neat. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, we learned a lot very quickly too. We got very good at it. Remember, we tore down that booth in like 12 minutes or something.
We were much better. We were much better by the end of the year than we were at the beginning of the year. That's for sure. But it was also nice. You know, I mean, you know this because you would get pretend angry. You know, I got to meet a lot of fans stop by the booth to say hi to me and hang out. That was cool. Yeah. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. So it was fun. I don't know. For me, I didn't really play a lot of new stuff. For me, finishing up a 6-year campaign, that was fun. And then starting my own campaign. Although we have been stalled because we were playing every single week, and now we've not played for a month. And we were supposed to play on Monday, but I was sick. But then one of our players was like, I'm seeing a play. I can't go. Last week, they had dental surgery. Week before, they had dental surgery. Week before. And the week before that, 2 people were sick. Next week, I'm going to be out. So last time we played was November, and we were like cranking there for a while. I hate when that happens. It's like you get that
momentum going, and
then stops. Yep. It just stops.
And what you just described, Stephen Glicker, is why Derik at Knights of Last Call is so fervent about doing these mega games. Because that way you're not at the whims and mercy of scheduling snafus.
Well, we have it. Well, there's a problem is that we have it. It's every Monday.
Right.
But for whatever reason, they can't do it any other day.
Sure.
So,
in
the old days, we used to have 3 days. We used to have like Monday or Tuesday or Thursday backup. So if one didn't work, we'd do the other. Now,
right.
Every single one of them is busy one of those days, and they just can't do it. It's literally Monday, and if it's not Monday, then we don't play that week, which sucks because I can do any day. But, you know, I mean,
you know what? It's not really game related, but I did get this in the mail finally. I think I kickstarted this I don't even know. I feel like it was 3 years ago, but it finally came, and I had completely forgot about it. It was one of those, we've all been there, where you get the package and you go, "What is this?" But this finally came. So.
The hell is that?
I have been so excited about this for so long. So this is Hunting the Shark, which was a small Kickstarter that was done obviously years ago. 20 years of Lone Shark puzzle hunts. These are the people who used to do the puzzle hunt at Gen Con, which I used to do every year. And so they published a book that is a reprint of every puzzle from the puzzle hunts at Gen Con.
So, in the Year of Mysteries, we have a puzzle every month, right?
Correct.
And we have, I should start sending them to you. And we have 2 expert puzzle makers writing them. They used to do all the puzzles at PaizoCon. And it was the puzzle hunt. He literally writes puzzles. There is
a very, very high chance that I would destroy it. I was really good. Now, the reason, by the way,
you're now on the playtest team. I'm adding you to the playtest team. I'm good.
So I
because I don't know puzzles, so I always find mistakes. I've told the story before, but a couple years ago, I went to a Magic Grand Prix, and it was the release of The Shadows over Innistrad, which was their new set of, it was kind of like gothic horror mystery set in Innistrad, but had sort of a Cthulhian mystery too, and it introduced the clue mechanic to Magic, where you when certain creatures would create a clue token where you could pay 2 mana, crack the clue, and draw a card. And as part of that theme, they had sort of a puzzle room, a puzzle escape room built in the Grand Prix hall, and it was like inside of a church of Avacyn, and they were, you could go in, and you were with groups, and you could get a timer. Anyways, I was like, oh, this is neat, and so I went in there on like the second or third day, and I just absolutely demolished it and had like the best time. And then the puzzle creator came over, because they told her somebody beat your puzzle in like 5 minutes, and she came over and she was like, oh, and it was my friend Gabby, who used to work at the puzzle hunt. She goes, "It's you." She goes, this puzzle wasn't made. This puzzle was made for mortals. It wasn't made for puzzle hunt vets. But it was really cool because it was like the last day. She gave me a piece, like one of the puzzle pieces that they used in that puzzle hunt, and let me take it home. And she was like, "There you go." But anyways, very cool experience. I love the puzzle hunts, and I used to spend most of my time at Gen Con doing them. So that was really cool. I'm excited to go through this at some point in time. What does it look like?
Bamboozle crowd, great crowd. What is my opinion on all the board games? I don't like them, but that's just me. People love Pirate Borg. I'll tell you that.
Pirate Borg is. I think
the limit around people are nice.
I don't know. Borg has just become a way. It's sort of like when you latch on to D&D just to get the sales. I think 90% of these board games are people just adding the word Borg to them. There was a funny video by another YouTuber where they said Borg or not Borg, and they would read out the name. It was a husband and wife team, and they're actually pretty good. I like their videos. I forgot their name, but they're new. They're new to the scene. They're new dungeon tubers, as we call them. Not according to Derik. Derik, what did we decide you're called? You're not a dungeon tuber.
I said I'm not a dungeon tuber. Well, I said I was insulted by the term.
You're insulted by the term, so me and Mark were ripping on you to come up with a new term, and we came up with what was it here? RPG tuber, dungeon delver, tabletop.
Oh no,
talking head.
It was certified dungeon opinion haver.
There we go. Certified dungeon opinion haver.
Yeah, that was me.
A CDOH. A CDOH. That's what you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
nice. Volcano Bjornborg. That explains Derik's tennis arm. That's nice.
So anyhow, what they said is like that whole joke was Borg or not Borg, and they would say the name, and she would have to guess if it was a Borg or not Borg. There was no kidding. They must have gone through hundreds of these. And you know, it's like there's so many of these out now. So it's hard to say what your opinion of, because that's like saying, oh, do you like Chinese food? It's like there's a trillion, you know, it's so vague. It's hard to say. What's it look like on the inside? I'm just curious.
Wolf instead is called The Hunting of the Shark.
It's not the whole thing, just like a page or two. I'm curious. Wow. That's a lot. Oh my God. How was that fun? That seems like so much work.
Oh, oh my God, it was so much fun. You did it the whole time.
No. And you doing it by yourself with the book, I'm saying.
Oh, just because it's fun to solve the puzzles.
All right, well, I'll take your word on it. I used to love puzzles when I was a kid, and there was no iPhones.
I was going to say they stopped doing it because you know why they stopped doing it? I mean, amongst other reasons.
iPhones. Everyone just
cell phones. You're right. Smartphones. Smartphones ruined it. Smartphones ruined it. Yeah. And then what really ruined it was that when smartphones came out, it started ruining it. And then they started having to make the puzzles like designed around the fact that they knew that everyone was going to be able to have access to a cell phone. So then like the puzzles became so weirdly specific. And so like there was no way you could solve them without the phone. And so basically it became who can Google the best. And it was the last couple of years were pretty bad.
Well, our puzzles for our Year of Mysteries you can't go, there's nothing to Google because it's impossible because everything's relatable to the puzzle itself. So, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to explain. I am playing a video game.
Says, yes, you can be a certified dungeon opinion haver, and I will carry on being a fantasy gaming planar lore content consultant.
Oh my God.
Jess was helping me. We were discussing planar cosmology, and I needed some help with alignments of the sub alignments of the sub great wheel planes.
Anyhow, I'm playing 2 Point
now
Museum.
This is before ChatGPT. Now I would just use ChatGPT, I suppose, with the puzzles. But I mean, again, I enjoy having them. Beowulf says, "Can't you just say no phones to the people using? They're disqualified." Ha 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 ha.
How would you do that? That's impossible.
But how you couldn't do that? I mean, you're not like standing in front of them, like you're going around the whole convention. Not to mention there were prizes. Like if you won the puzzle hunt, you got 4 VIG badges for the next year's Gen Con. It was like with hotel. It was a really nice prize.
What was your highest? No, you're not good enough.
Oh, I've told the story before, but
you have
one year.
This one. Oh no.
Yeah, the 1 year there was
were you ripped off?
Yes.
Oh,
1 year.
I got a rip-off story too.
1 year.
Yay.
One year there was
rip-off stories.
All right, I will tell the story because I've told it before, but I'll tell it again. Okay, every year had a theme. This year's theme was like Unlucky Larry, and it was like the theme was Unlucky Larry has basically broken every single thing you're not supposed to do. So that would make you lucky or make you unlucky. So every puzzle was themed, like one puzzle was themed around black cats, and one puzzle was themed about ladders, and one puzzle was themed about stepping on cracks, and another puzzle was themed about dropping the salt. So every puzzle had to do with the fact that this guy did something that was very unlucky. And each puzzle you would usually solve a bunch of puzzles, which would let you give the true answer to that puzzle. But that true answer to that puzzle was just a clue to the bigger meta puzzle. And the bigger meta puzzle is what does Larry need to do in order to get his luck back? You know, and we're in Indianapolis. And at that time, so you solve all the puzzles, and it basically says he needs to get the blessing of the Indiana Colts' quarterback. And the Indiana Colts quarterback was, at the time, Andrew Luck. And then once you solve that, the idea is you had to submit your proposal or your final project or whatever, your written exam, to the puzzle committee. Now, usually when you do the puzzle hunt, you end up working with a group of people, right? Your puzzle crew, because, you end up like just vibing, and usually get like 3 to 5 people who work together to solve these puzzles. So that was my puzzle crew. My puzzle crew. Now, this is before Gen Con took over Lucas Oil Stadium. Now Gen Con is in Lucas Oil Stadium. Back then it was not. My group snuck into Lucas Oil Stadium. Obviously we knew we weren't going to find Andrew Luck, but we were trying to figure out something. We snuck into Lucas Oil Stadium. We ended up getting stopped, not by security, but by an office person. We explained who we were and what we were trying to do. And someone from public media relations was like, I'd love to help you. They got us a life-size cardboard cutout of Andrew Luck. They took us down onto the field, onto the 50-yard line. We put Andrew Luck's cardboard cutout. We put a Gen Con badge on Andrew Luck's cardboard cutout, and we took pictures of us with Andrew Luck on the 50-yard line of the Lucas Oil Stadium, and that was us basically saying, this is how Larry can get his luck back with Andrew Luck. So that was our submission. The second submission was from a father who does it with his family, and they took a picture of Andrew Luck. But they use one of those programs where you can make the picture out of a mosaic of different images, and if you like, it's kind of pixelated. And the picture was him and his family for the last 15 years doing the puzzle hunt. Right? So if you zoom in, it's just pictures from like when his kids were younger to when they were teenagers, and it's them doing the puzzle hunt for 15 years. But if you zoom out, it's Andrew Luck. They didn't win either. The person who won was a mom and her daughter. And she took a picture of like a couple in bed, like in like a movie where they're naked under the covers. They've got the sheets pulled up, to their chests. And she did a horrible Photoshop of Andrew Luck's face on the guy and her face on the woman. Just, cut paste, just do the square, and it said with a really bad, Times New Roman font, I hope I get lucky. And she won. They won. So
that's the problem, is that there is you can't have something so scientific like a puzzle hunt be open to interpretation like this, where the final winner is chosen.
Now, to be clear,
committee.
because to be clear, I still got a prize because I did complete it, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't win the grand prize. There was only one grand prize.
That's BS. Well, I got my.
So
I'd never heard that story, by the way, ever.
Oh, okay.
I got
that's
one.
Now I've done well on other puzzle hunts. I've even gotten, what they consider the highest score, but because nobody finished it. There have been plenty of years nobody finished the puzzle hunt. It was so hard. I wouldn't have been mad, Jess, if the family won. I thought that was awesome.
I thought you were losing family. I thought that. I was like, oh,
no, that's why I was like, okay,
that makes sense.
I've told this story many times, so I tell it for dramatic effect. So I tell people that, and they go, obviously they beat you. And then I'm like, no, they didn't win either. They went to the horrible Photoshop.
I got one. I've never told this story on this channel. Not even Mark knows this story. It has nothing to do. It's semi-gaming. Is that we have, for charity in our town, we have a blind auction. So the way a blind auction works is you're given a number, and then you walk around this room, and in the room, it has things you can bid on, and you write down your number on a piece of paper, and whoever bids the highest and has the number wins. And it's everything from food of the month, like a chocolate of the month. Some of it, we're believing, a lot of vacation homes, like someone has a house in Florida and you can bid on that. Some of it's like completely outrageous. One of them, believe it or not, was to go see the Tony Awards. Actually, I told you about that. Remember? It was to see the Tony Awards the year Hamilton won. And
I remember you told me, and you said that you didn't bid on enough
I
things,
didn't bid on it, and it didn't even go for that.
And you said it went for that. It didn't even go for that much.
It didn't
and you
even
were
go for
like,
that much. And I was like, what am I thinking? I was so stupid. I should have bid for that. Because I love Tony Awards, and it was the Hamilton year too. Anyhow,
right.
And so there was one on there where it was courtside seats to see the New York Knicks. Okay. And I'm like, that I want to do. And it wasn't even that much. It was like maybe $300 for 2 tickets, which there were thousands. Oh, I was like, awesome. So I stand in front of the board, and every time someone comes over and writes their number, I write a higher number, and I wait. And
You're what do they call that in eBay? Sniping.
Yeah. So I'm sniping. And what happens, I'm waiting, because what they do is they're on clipboards, and then they literally pick up, they say, bidding over, and they go and they run, and they pick up all the clipboards, and they run into the back. So I had the highest bid, and the game was for tomorrow night. It was like literally the next day. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, and you know who's there with me? Jonathan, who you met. You know Jonathan, right. The guy we went to dinner with, friend of mine. And I'm literally saying, Jonathan, I won. We're going to the game. We're making arrangements. And like, we're getting everything, because it literally has my number. I'm the last bid. So what happens? I go to pick up the prize, and I'm like, well, where's my prize? Where's the tickets? And then they go, well, you didn't win. And I'm like, what do you mean you didn't win? I was the last number. I was there. I saw it. There's no way I didn't win. It turned out the husband of the organizer, the woman's husband.
Oh, man.
He won. And I'm like, what do you mean he won? That means he fucking sniped it for me illegally.
You got sniped by snipers.
I know, but I'm like, and I'm still mad about this to this day. I was like, well, I went insane. I literally was like, let me see the sheet. I was like, I want to see. That's bullshit. I'm like yelling at them. I'm like, we won. And this is for charity. I'm like,
this is so great.
And they disappeared so fast. I think they left because they knew they screwed up. And and then later years, Val was in charge of it. And whenever I saw them, I'd yell at them every time. I was like, I'm still mad. I'm like, it's not even that. If they won it fair and square, that's fine. But they actually cheated. They actually took it. And then he just decided that he wanted it. So he took it. And that was it. So what's the point? And after that, I never even bothered. Like, I didn't even bid for things after that. I'm so despondent by the whole experience. So anyhow.
Yeah.
Back when Steven had a career as a professional puzzle contest judge. No, I'm not a puzzle contest judge, but we do have a professional contest for the Year of Mysteries, Jess. It's actually a meta contest where, like, we just did it over the course of 13 weeks. And, it was 13 weeks. Is that there was 12 puzzles, and then the 13th puzzle was you had to take the answers from puzzles 1 through 12, combine them onto a map, draw lines, and then you would get the answer. So we're going to do the same thing for the Year of Mysteries. Year of Mysteries is going to be much harder because these puzzles are supposed to, like puzzles we were doing before were one a week. These are going to be one a month. So we're going to make them much tougher. And we're trying to make it that you work as a community. You can do them by yourself, but we're trying to make it that you work together. And then there will be a big meta puzzle at the end. See, no one cares about our stories because our views went way down. Anyhow.
I know.
So there's our story.
Well, they wanted to hear us talk about the best and the worst of RPGs.
I mean, so there was a lot of best.
For my money.
Yeah.
I mean, for my money, like I said, I think the production qualities and the impact of Daggerheart is going to be, I think, long lasting. So I think that's going to be a huge deal. I mean, Colville's got another $2 million Kickstarter going for Draw Steel. I think Draw Steel has the potential to bring back the super hyper crunchy tactical RPG that 4th edition left the hole in and never really fully been filled. I wonder if the future is more niche TTRPGs,
perhaps
where
they did step it up, because it will be interesting, because at the time you had Paizo and D&D really came out with the best books and the best content. And I would say me as well, because I make sure everything is top notch, top of the line, most expensive paper, bonding, everything. Everything is top notch. I always go over and beyond. But then you have books like Dolanwood, which is gorgeous beyond belief. You have books like Daggerheart. I mean, I know how much he spent. You think I spent a lot on art. He makes my art budget look like nothing. I mean, his art budget was triple mine. I mean, he spent a fortune on that art. I mean, they really spent a lot of money. Him being Ivan, because he was in charge of the art direction for Daggerheart. So they're spending a fortune on those books. And then you have Land of Eam, which I don't even know how they make money on that thing. I mean, that thing is it's ridiculous.
So while we were doing it, everyone's going on, and I go, hey, by the way, the PDF it's a 240-page book. And I go, the PDF is $15, which these days is a steal. Yeah. And I go, but you can also buy the core book for like, and it was on, on Amazon or whatever for like discounted. And I go, but the box set, which is massive. I mean, do you have the box set there?
It's right here.
Okay, the box, so the box set is $150. Okay, it's on sale from the manufacturer. They have a discount code. You can get it for like $120 with free shipping.
Look at this thing.
And if you buy it from them, you'll also get all the PDFs for free. Look at that thing.
Well, not only that, for shipping alone, this thing is like 20 pounds.
It'll kill a person. That will kill a person. You can throw that off.
It will kill you.
Yeah, like it's crazy. Oh, Jess doesn't think it's free shipping? I thought I saw free shipping.
So, I mean, look at this. These are the maps. I mean, these maps are
the maps
game
are board game
maps.
They're board game maps. They're board games.
Yeah, look at this. To be fair, these are not that expensive. Not that I'm
I know, but it's still but it's still.
Oops.
It's a six panel fold out board game.
Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah.
Fucking gorgeous. No, this is the most impressive thing I've ever seen. I mean, it's like, and you saw the, what was the one? You know which one? I'm trying to find it. The one I bought at PAX.
Crooked
Moon.
Not Crooked.
Yeah, Crooked Moon.
Oh, Crooked Moon. Okay.
I mean, that box set was impressive too. I mean, it comes with that look. And this is what's impressive. It comes with board game maps, comes with books. It comes with wooden tokens. It comes with
it comes with we call those meeples. Steven, come on.
Well, I'm letting people know that they're wooden meeples. And they're gorgeous. I mean, look at these gorgeous meeples.
Yeah.
You know what just shipped? It's a Magical Runner. I got the board game and they just shipped it to me. I'm so excited. That thing is amazing. I mean, this book is so big. And it's
every hex has an entry.
I put a lot of art. I mean, look at that. I put like one piece of art per page. They have 2 to 3.
To be fair, the two designers are twin artists.
Yes.
They are comic book artists. That's like their full thing. So
well, that's the thing with Pirate Borg is that he does all the art himself. There has to be, no kidding, easily over 1,000 pieces of art in this book. I mean, no joke. Because they have every inch of these books is covered with art. Anyhow, everyone is stepping things up. Now, that is fascinating because for people like me, so be it. I mean, I'm already there, so I don't mind so much. But look, they've put gold on this. Gold, I do that, and now everyone's doing that. And you know who else did that? Stormlight Archive. I got my Stormlight Archive box here. Whoops.
Oh, I did pick up that starter set box set. It was at my I mean, you got to hand it to them. They had it on the end cap with all of Sanderson's novels.
Yeah.
And then they had the Cosmere starter set.
Yeah.
And then they had they had the core book, and then they had the adventure or whatever.
It's cheap. I mean,
yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
And it was very affordable.
Is that right? Is that one day something will defeat D&D. Now, today's not the day, and it might take a while, but there was a time in 2000 when 4th edition came out and stopped, that they just stopped supporting D&D. And if they just stopped, it would have been overtaken by now by something. What, I don't know. Maybe Pathfinder, maybe something else, who knows. But but let's talk about the downsides of 2025. Because as impressive as this is, I got some bad news for you people. It's the last time you're going to see any of this stuff affordable, because the number one thing that's going to affect everyone is tariffs. Because, I mean, I've been paying them. I know it's a lot, and it's not a small thing. Most of these managed to either sneak in right before the tariffs, or they ate them because they had, Kickstarters to fulfill. So they asked for just like $2 or $3 to cover them. But, I've gone through it in more detail, but like if you have these, the math is 6 times whatever you have to pay. So basically for every $1 in tariff will raise the price of your product $3 to $6, depending on how much they want. So, right. If you don't believe me, look at RAM, because RAM right now, is out of control. RAM costs hundreds and hundreds of dollars. That's not because of tariffs, by the way. That's supply and demand. That's different. But yeah, and everything is RAM on it. But I will say that it doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're buying a book or one of these box sets, let's just say this Land of Eam. So if this Land of Eam goes for $150, hold on, I can do the math real quick. It's $150, right? Is what it goes for. So
yeah, that's the full retail.
This probably costs, I know. How much do you think this thing costs for them to produce?
To produce outside of getting it shipped, just printing,
including
printing
shipping,
the whole
everything,
thing.
Yeah.
All right. 30?
Close. About 25. Probably about $25. So it's about $25. Now don't forget, that doesn't include actually putting all the work in. I'm just talking about manufacturing costs.
Yeah.
Now you add in.
Now, right. So if you think about it, let's just say 25. So that's a 6x multiplier to go from 25 to 150.
Correct.
So if that 25 becomes, say, 35 or 40, and you do a 6x, now it's $240.
Exactly.
Right.
And the reason you have to do that is because, and that's why the MSRP, because people, I've had these arguments with very smart people who don't get it. It's like, well, you don't need to do that. I'm like, actually you do, because if you sell it to a store, the store pays you half of what...
Right, they have their margins and stuff, right?
Well, the store pays you half of what the official MSRP is. So I say the MSRP is $150. That means when Barnes & Noble buys it from me, they pay me $75, okay? Approximately. I'm using very rough numbers. So that means I make $50 per set, right? And which is a reasonable amount. So, I because you think, oh, he made it for 25, he's selling it for 150, he's making $125. No, I'm making 50 because, believe it or not, the retailer makes more than me. I make $50 a set, the retailer makes $75 a set. But they can also discount it. That's why things go on sale and stuff. Now,
correct.
Now,
but also too, right? Like they're taking it and they're putting it on their shelf.
Oh yeah,
and they don't make money until it sells. So there's and they have to pay for the real estate and square footage, and they have people, and I mean, that's the way business works. But yeah, generally, the more hands, the more hands in the pot, the more money it's going to cost, right?
I have to raise the MSRP because I can say, okay, now let's say it's costing me $40 to create this, and I keep the MSRP at $150. Well, that means I am now making 75 minus 40. They're only paying me $75. Now, right now, as in this holiday season, a lot of companies have been eating that. It's just been they're eating it because they just don't want to raise prices.
Right. Because that's what very famously.
Yeah.
Kelsey did that.
Yeah. A lot of people. I did that.
She basically made a big deal about I'm
talking about like Target. I'm talking about like Walmart. I'm talking about Amazon. I'm talking about everyone. Like they all kept their prices.
You can only eat it for so long.
This is it. This is the last time. And as of January next year, you're going to see prices explode because they're done eating it. This is the last time that because the reason they were able to eat it is because you put in your orders in February for December. So the tariffs didn't exist when most of these orders were put in. So these companies had to eat it. There was no way around it. And a lot of companies...
By the way, I did...
Yeah. I would say a lot of companies knew these tariffs were coming, so they were buying gargantuan masses of inventory last year at this time. They were getting ready for this because they knew it was coming. In fact, they were shipping their ships to Canada and just holding them there, waiting for tariffs, hoping tariffs would drop before they even would unload them. It was... I want to tell you, the tricks that people were doing to get around these tariffs was kind of mind-boggling. What were you saying?
Well, people talking about the RAM, and yes, it is a supply and demand issue, and yes, the LLMs are, the data centers are what are buying up all the RAM, for sure. But the other issue is that the RAM manufacturers would just rather sell it to them.
Yeah.
So they have no incentive to ramp up production. In fact, Micron, who makes Crucial, one of the most one of those storied RAM manufacturer, has said we are no longer going to make.
I saw that
RAM.
And
to the commercial district, we're only selling it directly.
Right, they're only selling commercial. They're not even selling because they're
only selling commercial, basically business to business.
Well, because they get a much higher profit margin.
Right, they get a much higher profit. They can just get, they can have these huge deals, and they don't have to deal with one person. Yep. But the other issue is that there's only 3 manufacturers. I mean, you might have a bunch of companies that put RAM chips together, but the actual RAM chips, there's only 3. Samsung, Micron, and XLC or whatever. But the other thing is, I just saw those companies that make those actual dies, the actual chips, that 2026 is sold out. Like they've already, all of the chips they are going to make in 2026 have already been sold. So even if the prices drop somehow tomorrow, the prices for these things are going to be high for years to come because that's what I'm saying. So even if the tariffs were rolled back tomorrow, it's still going to be ridiculously high.
Yeah, it's basically it takes about a year and a half for these things to really start hitting the market, and unfortunately, now it's going to be next year, and so you're going to start seeing everything is going to go up. I mean, TTRPGs are going to go up. Everything's going to go up just because you just can't keep selling. Board games are really going to get hit, and they're really getting hit bad. And this is how I told you the way it works is I get a bill. I literally get a bill saying, good news, your book's arrived. Here's your bill. You have a week to pay it in full, in cash. Like you have 1 week to pay your tariff bill. And if not, your books are destroyed. That's it. There's nothing you can do. You literally and your bill could be $1,000 or it could be $1 million. And a lot of these companies will pay over time. They'll do it in piecemeal. Like even when I do my books, I pay that over time. Like I don't have to do it all up front. Yeah. You do it over a course of multiple sequences, but not tariffs. Tariffs are like, here's your bill. That's it. Pay it.
But the other thing, Rye, is you have to realize is that the problem, if you're a RAM manufacturer, I think they know that things like the tariffs and even the LLM bubble aren't going to last. And the thing is if you try to ramp up production and then all of a sudden the floor drops out, well, then you're fucked. So it's just a completely horrible situation.
Okay, this sounds like a weird
for us,
thing,
especially as consumers.
Okay, so a lot of times, I don't want to offend anyone, but this was used a lot in my field. Is that I would tell people that, okay, a project will take us 6 months to do. And they're like, well, we need it in 3. And I say, it's 6 months. They're like, ramp up, get more people. Doesn't matter. You can only do that. First of all, it can take a very long time. It would take us longer to ramp up than it would to do the project. But one of my coworkers used to say, he used this analogy in our meetings. It's like, well, how long does it take to gestate a baby? like 9 months. It's like, well, I need it in 1 month. It's like, that's not how it works. You can't have 9 pregnant women finish it in 1 month. There is literally, it is impossible. You cannot speed these things up.
Right, you can't just throw bodies at the problem.
You basically, right. It just doesn't work. And that's the thing. It's like a lot of these companies are like, well, just make more. It doesn't work that way. Like there are limits. And more importantly, they don't want to always go past these limits. And more importantly, it gets extremely expensive to go past these limits. There's this thing when you're building a building, it's that if you go over, most buildings are less than 50 stories, because once you go above 50 stories, each story after 50 can be triple the cost for the same amount. So they're like, well, the higher the building goes, the more expensive it gets per story. And once you go above 50, it gets extraordinarily expensive. It has to do basically with physics and getting the water up and the height and all that. So it's just not worth it. It's the same thing. It's like, well, we're at a production level. It's like adding, 20% more chips might cost us 100% more money. Therefore, fuck it. Right. We're not doing it. The Mythical Man Month. The problem is, I read that in college.
People might start
the Mythical Man Month. That was a college book I had to read.
People start to, can cut corners. I'm pro-nuclear, and a lot of people are like, we should just get nuclear power plants up and running, and I agree, we should. But to do it right and to do it safely and to do it in a way where no mistakes are made, it takes 5 to 10 years to build a nuclear facility. So yeah, we should, but that's not going to solve today's problems. And then, unfortunately, that's the situation we're at. I did want to say
we're up to someone said we missed the best and worst. Well, we're up to the worst part.
We're just talking about the worst. But wait, we got the best. So we were talking before about the puzzle hunt.
We're going back and forth.
Here is the Gen Con 2014 Gen Con. This is, by the way, back when it was thick, because I'm
too tired to get up, and I have all my books in front of me.
This is back when the actual event listing was printed. It wasn't just on an app.
I know, it was brutal.
And you could go through, but the master puzzle was always in the actual book. So here's the bad luck. It wasn't Larry. It was bad luck Byron. Cool. And you can actually see this is my completely filled out.
That's really
this
cool.
This is the meta puzzle. Each of these answers came from one of the other sub puzzles that you had to answer. And then when you filled this all out, it says, because the letters in yellow,
it says Derik.
When you fill out that clue, it gives you a letter. Yeah. And it says picture of yourself with aptly named QB Andrew. And that's when you realize, the QB of the Indianapolis Colts is Andrew Luck. So that was the puzzle. The puzzle, all these other puzzles gave you that answer, which is the clue to what you had to do for the final submission.
So by the way, I'm going to tell you also why tariffs is number one and worst stuff. Because tariffs on games until now was 0. Okay? It's actually 0. Wasn't 5, wasn't 10, it was 0. And it would have been one thing if it went from like 10 to 20, which, believe it or not, wouldn't have been as bad, because a lot of these companies then know to expect it and they're ready for it, and they've been working with tariffs. I literally had books come in right after these tariffs were announced, and I just got a bill, and I didn't even know what to do.
Yeah.
I was just like, what do I do? They're like, and then they did explain to me how to pay it. I was like, this is insane. Like, it just came out of nowhere. So you went from 0% tariffs to 35, 50% overnight. And there's nothing, and you could have had things on the ship and they just showed it. That's actually what happened to me. I had stuff in the ship and it just showed up, and then I just got a bill like right after these were announced. So it's going to affect all gaming. And more importantly, you're going to see more and more, which is fascinating because these books are so beautiful and they're doing so well. But yet the other flip side is you're going to see digital explode even more than it already has, because there's no tariffs on digital. And I'm well aware of that.
And I mean, it's a win-win. It's cheaper and it's cheaper. And there's no tariffs.
Yep.
And in theory, it's more profitable. My understanding is that digital was always more profitable.
Yep.
And plus, most people are playing online these days, I feel, or more people are playing online,
No tariffs in digital yet. It's actually, well, they can't, because that would be a tax because it's not overseas. It would be incredibly hard because they're able to do it in places like Amazon and stuff because there's so many centralized areas. The only place they would have to do it is they would have to go to the credit card companies, and that's because they would not be able to find all the people who are digital, so they'd have to go to credit card companies and have them enforce it.
We'll start buying it with Bitcoin.
That's what I was about to say, and then there's ways that's exactly
the illegal RPG black market.
You'd be amazed. So that's one thing. So I was reading number 2 on the list, which depends how you look at it.
Right, or you just go the demi-plane route and just make it a sub.
Gizmodo had the 50 top the 50 top stories of the year. And I think it was number 13 was, believe it or not, Sigil going under. I was like, wow, that was in the top 50 stories of the year. I guess I was kind of surprised that A, it was even on the list, and B, it was like that high up. I was like, damn. And I guess it was big news. That it was big news that Sigil went belly up. I mean, they spent, from what I know, they spent something like 30 million on that thing. I think it was even more, but they spent millions on millions.
On what? Wasn't it? What were they doing?
Well, they had very high level people. They had 30 people, and each one of those people are making 200 to 300 to 400 each, easily, minimum. Okay. Well, that's what they make.
Okay.
And over multiple years. So you do that math right there. That's a lot of salaries. Plus, bonuses
I guess,
and all that. And they brought in some outside firms to help them. And I know that I know people from the outside firms who worked on this directly, and they had hundreds of people working on this. Not 100, hundreds. And this firm was very, very expensive. Okay, I'll leave it at that. I think it was much closer to 100 million, but it's a lot.
I'm
of
still
money.
shocked that didn't go anywhere. Was it like a tech stack implementation issue?
No, it was exactly what I thought it was. Is that they ended up spending something like, we'll just round it off. We'll say 50 million. They spent 50 million building the engine.
Mm-hmm.
And then they said, okay, now we need to create all the content. We need another 50 million just to create the content. And then they said, and it's going to take a year or 2 years.
Yeah.
And that's just for the basics. And they're like, screw it.
Outside of any sort of horrible microtransaction subscription transaction model, I was really excited for that because I thought that's the kind of experience I wanted. Actual virtual tabletop.
It was nice. It was good.
I've played RPGs in sort of a demo space on Tabletop Simulator, and I love that because it looks like a real table. I don't like VTTs the way that VTTs are. I want my VTT to literally be a virtual table top, like where your character sheet is on the table and the map is right there.
Acted weird.
So, but now, I didn't care as much about like the animations and like the spell, because again, that's where they lost me, because that's not something that happens on my tabletop, right? Like, I don't need that. I don't want that. But with the flourishing of STL files and with everybody making all these cool STL files these days for 3D printers, I would have thought that would have been like an awesome crossover for a third-party market. People could have created that stuff on, some sort of DMs guilds, but for, the thing. Hey, I created this orc band of 3D models. It's $4.99 or whatever like that. They take their 20% or 30% cut. I get the other 70%. And people could buy these virtual models, these STL files, essentially, and then drag them, drop them into your game. The game renders them and into a creature. It seemed like that was going to be really cool.
Woohoo! We got Derik this time. So much better than Discourse. Yikes. Question though, you all said Shadowdark is number 3. Is that just fantasy? I thought COC, Call of Cthulhu, was number 3.
Yeah, Call of Cthulhu is definitely number 3 worldwide. I mean, for no other reason than it's big in Japan, and I don't mean the band.
Big in Japan. Now, Call of Cthulhu is huge. So, interesting thing about Shadowdark is Shadowdark does not sell. Kelsey does not sell her books anywhere except through her own website and through some other publishers.
That's the same?
What's that?
Question mark.
What?
I think Matt does the same. Colville.
Yeah, a lot of
Drop
people
Steel,
do.
I think, is only available through his.
Yep, a lot of people do.
They don't want to pay the.
They don't do
20%
drive-through.
or
I don't.
whatever.
I actually don't. I sell in drive-through, but I never advertise it because they take such a massive cut. It's not worth it. I don't bother with draw.
Huge cut.
I don't think it's worth it. So she only sells in very specific places. So it is impossible to know the numbers. I, however, know where she sells and talk to her and know quite a bit. And I don't know if it's number 3, but it's up there. I'll leave it at that. Yeah. It sells insanely well worldwide. Way better than you might think. Mm-hmm. And she has massive worldwide distribution. There's a very small number of companies that can say that, and she's one of them. So
right.
And you go into any store anywhere, and it's there. It's everywhere. It's very quietly everywhere. So anyhow, and that's the other thing. It's that there's a lot of these games that are quietly
nice little game.
Do really well. Like Pirate Borg does fantastic as well. I mean, I know for a fact that does really well. So,
they had a killer booth at PAX. That was awesome.
Wow, that was some booth. But then you have Stormlight Archive, which I'd also say is one of those, like, you talk about making money. They probably made as much money this year as D&D made. So you might say, oh, there's no D&D killer. You know what? I guarantee if you had the profit, I'd probably say Cosmere probably, if you take out the digital, 100% Cosmere did way better than D&D this year. Way better. If you added the digital,
Brandon Sanderson fans buying the book, right?
Well, they made $55 million, which is not nothing. Then you have the Sanderson fans. Then you have all the stores buying it because you get paid when the store buys it, not when it's sold at the store.
Do you think D&D did $250 million?
No,
total.
No, not even close.
With digital?
With digital, I think it's probably closer, maybe to 100. You see, it's hard to say because they're hiding it really well in their numbers. Yeah. I don't know. It's very, very, very hard to say how they're doing because they hide it really well. And the only thing that makes money that I'm aware of, well, D&D makes money. Magic and Monopoly Go. And that's it. And Baldur's Gate, no licenses. Basically licenses. Monopoly Go is considered a license, by the way. It's a license, right? It's a license. So their licenses make money, Magic makes money, and D&D makes money. That's kind of it. Everything else loses money at that company. So, and they're quickly getting rid of those. They're getting out of those divisions very quickly. I don't know. I mean, I think they also pay. I don't know. They pay their people a lot. Like they're very well paid, which is good at WotC. But like their overhead has to be. So when D&D first came out, they had one full-time employee at WotC working on D&D. Everyone was moved over to Magic. So there was nothing but profit, if you think about it. And now when they ramped up for 5e, they basically stole half of Paizo. They were hiring everyone. I told you, if I didn't hire Mark, he was going to go. I guarantee Mark would have been at WotC. If I didn't hire him, he would have been there.
Or Mark.
They were hiring everyone. They literally hiring every person they could find. And half of Paizo went to WotC. And a lot of them are still there. So I don't know, but I'd say I have no idea. I can't even.
So let me ask you this, because I was just looking at the thing behind you. I don't want to be all super doom and gloom. It's New Year's Eve, we should be excited. So of all the games, because we went to the cons, you saw the games, you got a lot of products given to you. There's a lot of quid pro quo, trading books and stuff, gifts given to you, and you watch my show sometimes, so you get exposure to some of these games. You're obviously knee deep into the Pathfinder 2, Starfinder 2 universe. Mm-hmm. Obviously D&D 5e via your product company, and then obviously now Shadowdark because of Deathbringer.
Also, D&D is easy to follow because they don't release that many products, by the way.
Right. But if of all the stuff that came across your plate this year that made you go, man, I would love to said, I would love to run this. I don't know who I'd run it for, or I don't know who I'd play it with, maybe as a player. Was there a game, an IP, a book, that you saw this year that you were like, man, like, or my group would never go for this, or, like, it was just, I don't have the time for it, but I'd love to play it. The Monty Python and the Holy Grail game. By
the way, that's supposed to be fantastic, that game, by the way.
Right.
That this game, or I have it right here. This game is supposed to be so much fun. This game is supposed to be a ball. I want to play this at a con because everyone says it's great.
By the way, I apologize. My internet connection is a bit bad. I'm on my hotspot of my phone because my internet is out. So, by the way,
also came out this year.
Suspicious. I just talked with the AT&T rep who was going door to door signing people up because they finally put in fiber optic cable into my neighborhood, and so now they're getting people signed up to get the installation done, so that you can start getting fiber optic, and I can start getting gigabit down and gigabit up instead of my horrible, terrible Spectrum. I signed the contract. I signed the install date, and then I come back inside, and my Spectrum internet, there's an outage, and I get a text message that there's an undisclosed outage. Isn't that a little suspicious? I wonder. But anyways, yeah. Is there a game that you were excited about that you thought was look cool
that I really wanted to check out?
Yeah, that you were like,
yeah,
Dolmenwood.
Yeah, Dolmenwood.
Okay. Dolmenwood. Yeah,
Dolmenwood. Dolmenwood is just
because of what? Because of the dark fantasy vibes, because of the OSR, because of the production quality.
Here's the crazy part is that I love the concept of, and also Land of Eam for the same reason, is that you have this huge hex map, and then you can go around the hex map and like explore and see this cool world. And I just love that whole concept.
Yeah, that's a cool concept.
The funny part is the only time I ever played a game like that was Kingmaker.
Yeah, sure.
And everyone loves Kingmaker. It's the highest rated adventure path of all time.
I thought everybody says the rules are terrible.
It was terrible. Like, it was the worst adventure path I ever played. And I played a lot
because you just hit the nail on the head.
It was terrible.
And a great example of this, I don't even know if I have it here. Yeah, I do. Maybe. Yeah, I do. Okay. A great example of that, which I ran, was Quest for the Frozen Flame. And apparently I don't have it. But yeah, here we go. Is Quest for the Frozen Flame, which is an adventure. And the thing about Quest for the Frozen Flame is it is presented as a hexploration. They even use it. We use the hexploration system from PF2. Great. Here's the problem, though. In Quest for the Frozen Flame, you and your PCs and your tribe of people are being chased by a murderous army of people who want to wipe you out. And you're fleeing from their onslaught. That is not hexploration, because that's fleeing for your life. When you have an adventure path plus a hex crawl, those things are counter-purposed to one another. Yeah. The whole point of a hex crawl is you don't have this sort of,
you don't have a meta adventure.
You don't have this existential threat. You don't have this ticking time bomb. You can go, hey, let's go explore those mountains just to see what's there. And maybe there's a cool monster that we can encounter, or maybe there's a cool treasure that we can find, or maybe there's a really neat, there's an old witch who lives under the tree. Maybe we can do something like that. If you're being pushed, if the thumb is on the scale, then it doesn't really work.
I mean, I love that each one of these, you know what? Because you remember, I told you, I joke about it, but I backed and I used to get dungeon a day. And why don't you explain what dungeon a day was? Because my voice is going down.
Yeah, so dungeon a day was this idea from Monty Cook where it was a subscription dungeon model, and you signed up for it, and every weekday you got like another room in the dungeon. And
it was fun.
Man, I should do that for a hex crawl.
No, you should. It was so much fun. Sick. I loved it. I loved getting a new dungeon. I like to see how it was built out. And that's when I saw this. I was like, I love this idea. Now, I don't know how well it plays. That's the thing. It's one of these is that it's beautiful to look at. It's beautiful to read. It just makes my brain explode. There's another one I'm going to mention that does this too, by the way, that I also liked was that also came out this year. Sorry, I'm just looking for it. this one, completely unfathomable, also does this, where it has like a hex crawl where you can go around and explore the world. And hold on, I'm trying to find the hex crawl. And this thing is like, talk about new SR. It's very new SR, and this thing is crazy. I really enjoy
the thing
this
is,
too.
what I really respect about Land of Eam, specifically the Land of Eam
And
and their
Land of Eam
Muckland.
does it.
Yeah, Land of Eam does it too. And their Muckland, it's called their Muckland campaign setting. But Dolmenwood is these are what I call the macro approach to wilderness hex crawls and sandboxes. And for those, a lot of people here may not be as familiar with these things, but the fact of the matter is, hex maps, hex crawls, these have been part of the game for a long time.
Well, that's what Kelsey's new.
But 80%,
is, by the way.
But 80% of the map was empty. That's the problem. So I prefer the macro approach where they're like, hey, here is this. I'd rather get a smaller setting. You know, if you look at that Dolmenwood map or you look at that Land of Eam map, you know, it's not hundreds and thousands of hexes, right? It's, you know, 150 or something, 200 hexes. But each space is keyed to a 2 or 4 page spread. And no matter where your players go, there's going to be cool shit to encounter. It's a very macro approach to the hex. And I really, really appreciate that. Yeah. Very pretty. Cool. Yeah.
And I just love that idea that you have a world and that you can just go and have fun, explore it. It's almost like a video game.
It's like an MMO.
Or an MMO, exactly.
Yeah, it's like very much like an MMO.
Yeah.
It's very much like an MMO. And I don't know about you all, but you know, I used to play EverQuest. I used to play EverQuest 2. I used to play World of Warcraft.
I play them all.
And I was never like a super endgame guild raider type person. That wasn't me. But I was one of those people who I played solo or I played duo. I used to play with like my girlfriend. Or, you know, I'd get together with my friends and we would do some dungeons. And yeah, I even did some pickup groups and we would do the heroic dungeons. But one of the things I loved doing on my own is just going into a zone and walking around and looking at places and literally going like, I bring up my map and there'd be an area on my map and it would be, you know, kind of that parchment, World of Warcraft parchment unfilled, you know, color. And I'd go, I want to walk over those hills. I want to see what's over that valley and watch my mini map. You know that sound you get in World of Warcraft when you discover a new area and you get the little title that comes across the middle of your screen, you know that I can't describe it. It's not like a bell ringing, but it's that kind of like gong sound a little bit. And you get that little thing like you have discovered, you know, the Arathi Basin, and your mini map would update. Your auto map would update, and now you get to see this cool area. And now there's a bunch of new NPCs, or maybe there's a new quest hub, and you see there's a little Alliance watchtower, and there's a bunch of guards, and a couple of them have exclamation points above their heads. That to me is freaking magical, and I love that type of gaming. For me, I love that type of gaming far more than what we would call a traditional adventure. For me personally.
You know, the other one we forgot to mention, which also does this.
Oh, is Dragontown. And
Dragontown,
Darkness
right.
Below.
I was bringing it out right now. Dragontown does this too. This is the unofficial. This was the preview version.
So Stephen got his as a gift from JP Couvert, and I turned down my gift from JP Couvert because I said I already bought it from you via the Kickstarter before we became friends. I never buy anything from Kickstarter because I get everything for free. Yeah, I know. But this is a beautiful book, by the way.
Yeah, this is crazy. By the way, Jess, I have to answer Jess's question. We're going to go into a slight tangent. Speaking of Land of Eam, Stephen, what do you think about Rock and Roller Coaster swapping out Aerosmith for the Muppets? Well, the Rock and Roller Coaster is one of the best roller coasters in the world. I fucking love the Rock and Roller Coaster. I love that it was Aerosmith, but it was Aerosmith in the 90s. Because in the beginning of it, Ileana Douglas comes in as their manager, and Ileana Douglas looks like she's like 30. And I was like, oh my God, this is really old. And Aerosmith looks like they're in their 40s. They're not like in their 80s or something. They're so old. And I love that roller coaster is great. No, well, you know why I like it? I like the Rock and Roller Coaster because it goes fast. It has the music in your ears while you're going through the coaster, and it's the whole experience. Keep in mind, a lot of coasters do that now, but this was the first one that I remember that synced music with the roller coaster in pitch black. So it was unlike anything I've ever seen before. By the way, California Screamin' uses the same technology, so they also had music in your ears. Space Mountain does it now too, and a couple of them do it. Actually, I think Space Mountain is still one of my son and I go on Space Mountain all the time. That is a top 3 roller coaster all time. That is so good, how good that is. Now, I've not been a rock and roller coaster in 10 years, but you know what? Who the heck knows who Aerosmith is? I mean, you know what? It was time, and they own the Muppets. The other thing is they were probably paying a license fee to use rock and roller coaster, so yeah, makes sense. Anyhow, yeah, she agrees. Space Mountain, it never gets boring, and it goes faster and faster and faster, and it just keeps going. And then by the end, you're like, oh my God, you don't think it can go any faster, but at times finds a way to go faster. It just loops. That's all it does. It just goes around, but it goes around over and over, and you're like, you feel like a race car driver by the end. I actually like it with the sound in my ears. I like it because I like the overstimulation. I'm one of those people who, like, I would go to E3. I actually brought a whole bunch of friends of mine to E3. And after the first day, they had to leave. E3 was Electronic Game Expo. And they were like, it was too much too much. It was like, that place was super overstimulating. I'm like the one who goes to Vegas. I'm like you, Derik. I love it. I love all that overstimulation.
Ding, 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 ding,
Oh, yeah. I love it. Oh, have I been on Tron? No, I've not been on the Tron. I wanted to almost go to Singapore just to go on the Tron roller coaster, but I do know it's in the Disney World has it. I'm going to go on that when I go. Actually, I'm going to be in Florida tomorrow. So anyhow, I was on all versions of Space Mountain. I was there when it first opened. I went on it like right when it opened, when I was something like really young, 7. It was an e-ticket ride. How about that? If anyone knows what I just said, you're old. Do you know what an e-ticket is, Derik?
No.
Oh, he doesn't know? Well, you've never been there. So back in the day, have you ever heard the term an e-ticket ride?
No.
You've never heard the term. Okay, so people would call something awesome an e-ticket ride because back in the day, they used to get a coupon book when you went to Magic Kingdom, Disney World, or Disneyland. And in the coupon book, all the rides were rated either A, B, C, D, or E. And you would have to use your coupons to go on the rides. And then you had like the lamest rides would always be an A, like the Hall of Presidents was an A. And then you had like the medium okay rides would be like a B. And then you had like C would be, I don't know, like medium level rides. D would be like, top tier, but not the super best. And then you would have an e-ticket ride. An e-ticket ride, I think Haunted Mansion. Haunted Mansion was either a D or an E. Space Mountain was an e-ticket ride. I don't know what other ones were e-ticket rides, but only Pirates of the Caribbean, I think, was an e-ticket ride. Like, so you'd have the best rides would be e-ticket. It actually was a really cool thing because it kept the number of people off the ride. It was able to do control because you only had so many e-tickets. Only so many of each tickets were sold. So you didn't have too many people go on the ride. It actually was great. But they don't do that anymore. But I was old enough that I actually had the ticket book, and we would figure out which tickets to use on which rides. And that was the e-ticket ride. Yeah, I really... So back to what I was saying. I love the idea of these hexploration games.
Yeah.
I have not played one that was good. So
fair enough. Well, I think the problem
you should do it for your mega game. Do it for your mega game.
Yeah, so I don't see. Look, people go, Derik, everything you talk about turns into a mega game conversation. The problem that we've had historically, the reason why we've avoided doing it is because a lot of times our GMs are also players. So all the GMs would have access to all of the maps and all of the, quote unquote secrets, which again, I don't really care. Like, I don't think it ruins the game, but it does, the experience of discovery is somewhat lessened if you already read the place because you did the thing, because you were running it, so it's like, yeah, I already know it's beyond those hills because I ran another group through that same area, maybe last week or 2 weeks ago. But I think the number one problem with hex crawls and the way that people have done them, because I've run good ones and I've run bad ones, I will freely admit, is the players need to be self-motivated. The whole idea falls apart when you have players who are either used to being sort of given, kind of being led by the nose, right? Or when there's a very clear, correct choice that you're supposed to be making. It's like, yeah, players, you can do whatever you want. But there's an evil necromancer over here who's raising an army. He's going to destroy the town. I'm just saying, you can do whatever you want. It's like, okay, clearly we know what we're supposed to do.
The other one I would like to run, and that this, because I was very excited, is Mythic Bastionland, because I was very excited by
which is also a hex crawl.
Well, yeah, that what's his name did. What's his name? Who did the review?
Derik?
No, our favorite, the YouTuber, who gets 1 million viewers. Remember, he did a very good review. Quinn's Quest.
Oh, Quinn. Yeah, okay.
Quinn did a really good review of this.
Yes, actually, one of my top videos for the year was my Mythic Bastionland video.
Yeah,
and it had absolutely nothing with the fact that I did it. It's that I did a Mythic Bastionland video. That was a
fantastic review. That was the best review of the year.
I did a Mythic Bastionland video, and then a week later-ish, Quinn's dropped his.
I know.
And because he dropped his, like normally you see my videos and the views go like, oh, Derik just released it, bloop, and then it goes down and then it goes to nothing. Well, when I did it, it popped and then it went to nothing. And then like a week later, it went, it shot up because when he did his review, it had everybody searching it and the algorithm was giving me a bunch of views because no one else had really talked about the game. So,
well, anyhow,
thank you, Quinn.
And it came out. It looked so interesting, right up my alley. I just loved the layout, loved the design, the concept, and then I couldn't find it anywhere. We went to Gen Con, sold out.
I bought you that.
No, not a Gen Con. And then Chris was there. I hung out with Chris all of Gen Con. He couldn't even get it from me.
Right.
Then
it won
all the awards, and then I couldn't get it. And then you found it at PAX West. And you bought it for me.
And I bought it for
then at PAX Unplugged, Chris was there. And I bumped into him. And I was thinking of buying another copy just to have him sign mine and have him rip on me because I beat him in Magic. And he said, and I quote, I would have rather lost all my Ennies and won
if
those Magic games against you.
Now that's a true gamer. It's like, I don't give a shit about the Ennies. I wanted to win this random pickup draft.
Well, because
we played a game. You were jump starting. You weren't even drafting. You were jump starting.
It was a jump start, and he had a 99.9% chance of winning. I had 3 hit points left. He had like 17. He misplayed, and then I went alpha on him and did exactly 17 points of damage, and he lost, and he couldn't fucking believe it. He was just stunned because the next turn he would have won.
Life in Magic is a resource. The only one that matters is the last one.
Exactly, and he was so mad. And I don't think it was by misplay. That was the best part, and I was so happy.
Volcano, you have to be careful with the limited food and the hostile environment. And the reason why you do have to be careful with that is because if the players are more concerned with surviving than exploring, you will actually tamper their expectations and you will actually make it so that the players don't explore. Because if the world is too dangerous, if you use too many sticks and not enough carrots, you have to be there's a very, very, very careful balance. I think a lot of people, I think a lot of games get it wrong. And they make hex crawling overly punishing. They make it so that there's nothing good to find, but that starvation, disease, death by monster, by exposure, by whatever, is right around the corner. And so people go, I'm not getting anything, but I'm going to get killed. What is the reason? What is the incentive for me to go and do this thing? And that's not really a good. It's not really a good playback, a feedback pattern to create a good gameplay pattern if you want to encourage people to hex crawl. And my buddy Lance in chat, who is one of my real life friends, says, so every Smith hex crawl game. Yes, exactly, George. 100%. You are right.
So we had
that's always usually the problem.
One of the most disappointing things is number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2 was Sigil, I'd say. Number 3, well, for me, It was
Diamond.
Oh, Diamond was up there. I forgot about Diamond. That was number one for me.
Yeah.
That was number one.
I mean, in a
me.
way, kind of for a lot of industry people, right?
Well, it was number one for me. It was number one for Paizo, not by far number one. Number three, the time Stephen lost the silent charity auction. That was like 15 years ago, by the way. So I only think about it every day. Anyhow, Diamond is bad. It's still going on. I have no idea what's going on with that. And I'm trying to think what else is.
Oh, Dungeon Tube is dead. We learned that.
Well, we learned Dungeon Tube is dead.
We learned Dungeon Tube is dead.
Well, it's not as well. You know, the whole funny thing is that was a joke that you and me and the professor were just ripping on.
Correct.
At PAX Unplugged. It was totally a joke. And then I said, you should do a video on that. And he did. And it blew up. Like, it really blew up. It wasn't that Dungeon Tube is dead, it's that the old timers ran out of things to talk about.
Sure.
And a lot of them just stopped doing it because they just, you do run out of things. I mean, today I
perish
wrote you.
the thought.
Well, even you, I said to you, do you have an idea for a topic?
Oh, I did say.
And you were like, no. Okay. And I'm like, and I didn't have one either.
No.
I was like,
we talked about this. You said, you said, what should we talk about today? And I said, all right, let me just this is since Christmas. Okay. Which was a week ago. Let me add.
And we're going to hear how amazing Derik is at YouTube.
20.
Dungeon Tube is dead, except for Derik Malenda, who's
for 27 hours
keeping up the entire industry.
Okay. I have streamed for 27 hours since in the last week.
Woo! Amazing.
You were on one of them.
I know. And that was a long one. After I got out, I was like, what the hell were you doing in there?
That was our Christmas Day stream. That went almost
stream.
5 hours. Anyways, my point is I streamed for 27 hours in a week.
Well, these people are weak because they're like, I can't think of one thing to say for 10 minutes in my one video I put out per month of 10 minutes of D&D crap.
Correct.
And
so
we were
27
like,
hours.
I need to come up with something that we could talk about for 3 hours and not bore everyone to death. So.
Right. And all we've talked about in those 27 hours is mega games. No. There was Land of Eam. There was bonds and friendship mechanics. There
I listened to most of those, by the way.
Can D&D be killed?
Yes.
There was.
That was a good one. I like that.
There was a lot of stuff. And yes, we did have a couple of literally the middle of the night streams where it was like the one stream was Derik just wanted to play around with his new pen tablet.
That one too.
But my point is, that is a lot of content, and that's just 1 week.
Well, I think it's really just
says Land of Eam, mega game, Bonds and Friendships, 4 mega games. Can D&D be killed by mega games?
All mega gaming.
I just think here's the thing. I think that is in some ways the ideal way for people online to play RPGs. And I also respect it because I think it goes back to the very roots of our hobby. And again, here in the first edition Dungeon Master's Guide, Gary Gygax will tell you that the way that D&D was designed was for one GM to be running a campaign that might have 20 plus players in it who stop by. Gary used to run games 4, 5, 6 days a week, sometimes multiple times a day for completely different groups.
Well, I'll tell you,
they would literally stop by, knock on his door, and his wife would show them in, his first wife and Mary Jo, and would say, and they, Gary'd be in his office, smoking his Camels, and they'd be like, Mr. Gygax, can we play? And he'd be like, give me 15 minutes. And then he'd go into the basement and just start running games.
So by the way, when Kelsey finally gets her new Kickstarter out, I think you're going to see a huge uptake in mega games.
Oh yeah, with Western Reaches.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I'm actually excited to see what she's coming up with that.
And can Shadowdark mega game. Oof. I mean,
I'm curious to see when she comes up. I know she's still writing.
I know it'd be awesome. It'd be great.
I was supposed to be out by now. And
is it?
Yeah, I was supposed to be out by this. She's busy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I know it was supposed to be out by now.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to her a lot. She's real busy.
It was supposed to be out by now, which is I don't think it is, but is Broken Empires. Trevor Duvall's game.
Yeah, that was supposed to be out by now too.
he wanted to get it out this year.
Well, I'm getting better because I have excuses. In the beginning, my excuses was I added too much. My other excuses is that I eventually got better, but then when I got the text and I laid out the books weren't big enough, and I felt like it wasn't worth it, so I doubled the size of all my books, so that took extra time. The other excuse, so most of the content is done from my Shadowdark books, but as I correctly assumed, everyone wanted the art in black and white, so I had to commission 600 pieces of new art, so that's taking a little while to get that. It's going fast, but still takes a long time, even if you get 10, 20 pieces a week. A lot of weeks.
Shocking, Stephen.
What?
Trevor's been very transparent, and no one expected him to hit this deadline, so it was like a self-imposed deadline, so no one's like upset about it. But guess what is, the main hurdle? Getting all the art in.
Yeah, that's what happens. And so I've actually had, that messed me up because I had it ready, but then I had to go back and just do it. And finding people who could do it well and fast and good, it's hard. And I have 2 or 3 really good artists that are just cranking through it. And then, you know what happened? Actually, just happened to be totally transparent, is that a whole bunch of the art was just too dark. Because what happened is, like, when you have line art, and I made the pictures much smaller, they started to smush, and like you couldn't see the fine details. And I went back to him and I said, as one of my artists, I said, you have to redo like 50 pieces of art. And now I've given this guy, like, no joke, hundreds, like not 10, but hundreds upon hundreds of pieces of art. And he's like, no problem. Because he knows I'm not going to stop giving him art, and he's
that's the gravy train right there.
You got to keep that fun. He's a professional, and he's like, "Yep, no problem. I totally understand." And he did it, and he fixed them, and now they look a lot better. But even things like that happen. Like I did lay it out, and I was like, you know what? It's like line art. Line art, if it gets too small, it's just hard. It loses its coherence at different sizes. Line art looks very different, small and large, and it got kind of hard to see when it was really small. So I had them redo it. And but now I'm getting really good because I have new dragon books we're working on. Books are done, 100% done. Art is almost all done too. So that will be, when those books come out, they'll be ready. Eldamon, I've been working on the art for a long time, as you well know. So I've been posting that. All the Year of Mysteries, those are all done. Kind of like all the art's done, and we get the mysteries. Half of them are written, and then they continuously come in throughout the year for the other half. I'm trying to get really good at trying to have my books come out much faster. Right now it's a problem because I'm just bad at scope creep. But the scope creep was good for you. It's not like scope creep and you don't see a result. In scope creep, you get bigger, better books and more to add to them. So. There you go.
Jess was saying yes, and when their characters died in those campaigns, they would take them into the backyard to ritualistically burn them. And Pumpkin said there was a LGS that would burn all the character sheets from their year and their years. In one of the last PF1 campaigns that I played, I was a player. Smith, we just called it Death World, but the official name of the campaign was Demon Fire, and it was a campaign that was like a post-apocalyptic dark fantasy. It was kind of like Shadow of the Demon Lord before Shadow of the Demon Lord, but it was played using Pathfinder 1. And Smith basically said, I'm making this is campaign as a challenge. I'm going hardcore, super hardcore, make the meanest, toughest son of a bitch characters you can have. Everything here is going to be grossly unfair. And you had a point buy to buy your attributes. Behind Smith on the wall, which was already there, we had a framed picture of Gary Gygax. And then every time someone's character would die, Smith would tape it up on the wall underneath Gary. And when anyone went to make their new character, you got the base number of points to make your point buy for your character, but you got +1 point for your point buy pool for stats for every character that was on the wall. So by the end of the campaign, there was like 22 dead characters on the wall. And so like normally instead of like a 26 point buy, you had like a 48 point buy. So people were starting their characters with like, 18, 18, 18, 7 or 16, 16, 18. It was pretty awesome. And we still TPK'd.
That's like a roguelike. It's like every time you die, you get a little
Lance,
stronger.
we definitely didn't roll stats because you definitely got bonus points. Oh, okay. We rolled stats, but it was a flat +1 per dead. Okay, so it was even more crazy. Okay, Lance. So he was in that campaign. So I'll trust him. I'll trust his word for it.
I actually like that.
I thought it was pure point buy.
So what was your, I mean, there's other things that were scandalized, but what was some of your big disappointments this year?
So let's see. That were RPG related because my dad died and I lost my job and all that stuff.
About just TTRPG world.
Well, I think my biggest so my personal biggest disappointment is just that I was so busy and my friends were so busy and with life and families and their own traumas and tribulations, trials and tribulations. I really didn't get to play a lot of RPGs this year. I didn't get to run a lot. I didn't get to play a lot. I got to play some Pathfinder 2. I got to run a couple Torchbearer campaigns, and I'm kind of ending the year here with kicking off a Fabula Ultima campaign. But other than that, I didn't really get to play a whole ton, which was unfortunately very disappointing for me. I think for me, let's see, my big disappointment. Yeah, I don't know. I just didn't get to play as many cool games as I would like to. I think that's what it really what it comes down to. In terms of releases, I don't think there was anything that I was super duper looking forward to that really dropped the ball. Again, there have been some really great products that came out that really excited me. I owe it another chance. So I'm going to say this with an asterisk, okay? Because I only took a look at it as a first reaction. I have to go back and I have to really read deep. Blades in the Dark, I consider to be one of, if not my favorite TTRPG. And I shouldn't even say it's my favorite TTRPG. It's not. But it is the role-playing game that I find the most easiest to integrate with my GMing style and the easiest to go kind of flow from me. John Harper, people have wanted Blades in the Dark 2 or whatever, for a long time. John Harper this year released Deep Cuts. And there was a print version of it finally.
Yeah, I didn't mention that because I don't know anything about it, but I do know there was something in there.
And while some of the things that he added, Deep Cuts is basically John Harper's house rules. It's not really a revision of the game. It's not really like a second edition. Some of his house rules are things that I have been using for years that I naturally kind of came upon. But the bulk of the book is a couple of changes to the core resolution mechanic. And I absolutely hated his changes. So that was a huge disappointment for me. And now again, it's not actually a second edition. It's just a, so again, some of the changes in Deep Cuts, again, they're not changes. They're more like, here's a list of house rules that I use and maybe you could use them. I like because I was already using them. But the main impetus of Deep Cuts was changing the action roll to what's called the threat roll. And I really didn't like it. Secondly, I see Pumpkin in chat, and Pumpkin knows me better than I know myself, I guess. Which is that, again, I was really excited for Daggerheart, and I was disappointed that Critical Role. I know they have all their reasons, but I was disappointed. Critical Role went with D&D. I was disappointed with how the community has embraced Daggerheart. The things that Daggerheart community chooses to focus on, the things that Daggerheart people seem to want, and they're a business, they got to deliver what people want. Now, I'm not saying I want endless splat either. Like, I don't want 50 new classes and 100 new domains. I don't want that either. But I don't think the game is benefited by producing adventures and just tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of campaign frames. Because I think a campaign frame is of limited use, because how many campaigns are you running? So if Daggerheart, if the third party market and the Darrington Press folks, if they come out with like 40 new campaign frames, it's like, well, how many campaigns are people actually running?
Yeah, they said there was an article about them, I think today, about how they didn't expect, I mean, everyone knows this, that they didn't expect to sell as many as they did. And that they sold basically 2 years worth, 3 years. They had they sold out in 2 weeks. and what they expected was going to last at least like all year. And we spoke to them. Like they couldn't believe how much it sold out, which was pretty fascinating. I think a lot of it had to do, I told you, I was at Gamma and I went to that presentation, and they were saying how, first of all, the presentation was packed. And these are at Gamma, these are the stores that buy the box sets. And
hey, I bet.
Oh, everyone wanted to buy it. Everyone was very, very, very interested in getting their box set, and their booth was hopping. So it wasn't a big surprise to me that this did really well, because the game stores wanted to buy it. And this was one of those perfect storms that it came out and then it was sold out. And that always happens. Like when something gets sold out, suddenly everyone's like, what? It's sold out? Now I want it. You know, it's like you only want it when you can't have it. And then suddenly it became a self-fulfilling prophecy that if you tried to find it, you couldn't, because everyone was talking about it. And it just came out at the perfect time, the perfect place. And then, then obviously they hired Chris Perkins and they're hiring
Jeremy
Crawford. But they said they have a 3-year plan. And I
did see something that said they sold 2,500% more than they expected. Now, part of the reason for that is, it's a statistic that's fun to throw out there. Well, maybe their estimates were just really low.
Well, right. That's the thing. It's like, what are your estimates? And what was that? They sold more than what? What they thought they were going to sell in the first month, the first week, the first year? Like, right. I sold a 1,000,000% more if you consider how much more I expected to sell in the first hour of the first day of February
and
8th.
Jess is 100% right. After the kind of flop that Candela was, I would imagine they were like, well, maybe people don't want to buy. Everyone really is just so D&D red pilled, like they don't want to do anything.
I mean, well, I hate to say it, but art really goes a long way. It's like Candela Obscura just looked blah. There's a lot of blah.
Not only that, but I cannot stress this enough.
Look like anything.
I think a lot of, and this is why I said D&D needs to split in its thing. I think a huge part of the D&D brand nowadays is being able to cosplay as your character. And I don't mean that like literally. I just mean that like figuratively, right? I don't have to tell you this, buddy. How many new ancestries have you made in the last couple of years? 60?
At least.
Yeah. Right? People love being able to put on a costume. And I think that the way that most people play their D&D games is very, Ren Fair wearing a costume. They want to put on the frog suit. They want to put on they want to put on the unicorn suit. They want to put on the whatever. It's about, they don't actually want to be like that character. They want to be that character in the real or semi-real world, right? That's why you have, turtle people and frog people and wolf people, and they're all working at a coffee shop serving coffee, right? It's like this absurdist fantasy that they enjoy. And I think that Candela Obscura didn't have that. And I think Daggerheart had that in spades, along with great art and all that other stuff. You know?
Okay. Well, you say great art and all that other stuff, but take a look. You just were going on and on about how amazing Land of Eme is and how amazing Dolemwood was. It's like, you know what? Art goes a long way. It's very, very important. Name is important. Art is important. Like there's just packaging, just the whole, there's a lot around it, because what's important and why this is so important is that people represent what you were saying about cosplay is because what they buy is part of a representation of themselves.
Sure. Yeah.
So they want to feel good about themselves. So if something is not doing well, like Candela Obscura, even if they like it, they'll have to defend themselves. And then they're not going to go through the effort after a while. They're just like, you know what? It's not worth it. So you have something like Daggerheart, again, self-fulfilling prophecy. It looks beautiful. The book was gorgeous. It had really big names on it. It sold out. It had a great gamma. And then the stories were starting to spread. And the next thing you know, everyone was looking for it because you couldn't find it. So Now here's someone after your own heart. Why would you need anything other than humans?
No, I like elves and dwarves and hobbits. I mean, halflings, and I like those races.
I'll tell you the story. I've told the story again before, but I'll say it again. Is that anyone who plays World of Warcraft knows that the Alliance had a 3-to-1 ratio of humans. So the Alliance, which is humans, humans, elves.
No.
What?
Humans, night elves.
Night elves.
There was a different type of elf than they were in the Horde.
I know, and I'm going to tell you where that came from. So
humans, night elves, gnomes, and dwarves.
Right. And then eventually, trolls.
And then eventually Draenei.
Draenei. Oh, Draenei. God, I love Draenei. I played Draenei.
The trolls were always Horde.
Oh, yeah, they were Horde. They were added, by the way, at the very last second. That's why they had no real starting area, because they only had 3 races, and they realized 3 and 3 wasn't enough, so they added a 4th real quick. Anyhow, the problem is that, especially in Asia, that they do not like to play monsters. And so no one, it was even worse in Asia, no one wanted to play the Horde.
Right, and they weren't pretty.
They weren't pretty, and they did not want to play monsters. So everyone played humans, and it was a big problem. So when they designed the Blood Elves, they purposely made them the exact quote. I don't want to get demonetized, but they literally used like pictures from like Playboy and strippers to design the elves, male and female, because they wanted them as beautiful as possible, because they needed to get the servers better balanced. And then what did the Alliance get? Did they get the wolf?
They got the Draenei.
The Draenei.
No, they didn't get that was the same expansion. They got the Draenei.
Draenei, which is always funny, because I was Horde, and then I went to Alliance to play the Draenei because I wanted to play the Draenei.
And the Draenei were weird space alien tentacle beard people.
Yeah.
No, they didn't get the Wolfrin or whatever they were called.
Not for a little while.
For a while.
That's what I think when the point is that they can argue that it was lore all they want. It was literally balancing the servers, and they made them as sexy as fuck. They did. They went over the top with those blood elves, and if you saw the pictures, they literally used pictures from Playboy and strippers when they designed them. I know.
Yeah, Worgen. Thank you, Greyhawk. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. Worgen and Pandera.
But Pandaren, I think, were both sides.
It was both sides, and that is because the art director, he loves pandas. His whole office is filled with pandas, and so that was. I can go into Blizzard lore forever, but anyhow, just show you that yes, people traditionally like playing humans and humanoids, except when you don't. You see, that's where it gets weird. So people who like to play humans, there's so many humanoid-esque humans out there that you don't really need to add to them. So the people who don't like to play them like to what's called dabble, is that not only do they like to not play humans, but they usually like to dabble lots of different things. So that's why I could release 13, 15 ancestries a year, because people like to try out lots of new things.
So what you're telling me is that people like you are responsible for people making new characters and campaigns every 2 to 3 weeks.
Yes, I am responsible. But, also then you have people who really like our 2 most popular ones are slime, which, by the way, you can make it look like anything. So you could be a humanoid slime, which most people are, or dungeon, because you get to play dungeon, then you can make your ancestry. See, that's the real secret, is that if you can make an ancestry, it looks like anything. Look at you. You played a swarm, and what did your swarm look like?
No, it was a slime.
A slime. Wait,
but I looked like a person. No, I was a slime that I thematically represented as a nanobot swarm.
There you go. There you go.
Joshua Chapman wants to know, is there an art book from Roll for Combat? That's kind of a cool idea.
Yeah, I don't know how well they would sell, but I could put one together. I mean, Jesus, I have
so many pieces.
Thousands of pieces of art. I mean, I've never done
do you have the full license for all your art? You don't?
Of course. I own
okay.
Everything. Yeah.
You bought the commercial, or the copyright,
Yep.
I mean?
Yep. I own everything. Everything outright. The only ones I don't, Stefan Pog requires me to put in a copyright for his, but he's pretty famous, so that's okay. So his stuff, he still has a copyright, and he can sell his originals. And,
prints or whatever.
Yeah, he can sell like prints, and I'm like fine with that. And then the other one is I forgot who did our maps. Blondo. Blondo can resell my maps on his site. So, but otherwise I own them. So sometimes you'll do things like that where you'll have either like a shared copyright, but I own it outright.
Yeah.
But then I basically relicense it back to themselves so they can do it. So.
What's the best game that is underserved by its art that you've seen?
That's underserved by its art? Oh, there's a lot.
There's quite a few.
There's
I mean, the first one that drops to my mind is unfortunately Draw Steel, but Draw
Steel. See, Draw Steel, I haven't played it yet, but I think I really want to play it. Actually, I would like to play with you even, because I think I will love Draw Steel because it seems so crunchy and so 4E. It looks totally up my. I love the concept. I love everything about it. But what bothers me is that those books are so cheaply made. They went to the bottom.
That's why you play on the Codex, and you don't worry about your book.
I know, but they got $140 from me for these books that were done by.
Well, you help pay for very, 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 very nice living wages for the staff development and a really cool VTT.
If you're going to charge $70, they were charging $70 for a book when no one was charging $70. That was quite a while ago.
Draw Steel, not draw art.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's not. There's a taste thing. You know, some people might really like that art style. I just found that most of the pieces, they didn't excite me the way that other pieces of art excite me. So I mean, there's art. It's art, so it's a very subjective thing. You know.
How do I get everything? I don't get everything for free. Plus, I ordered that years ago. I ordered that when it first was.
Yeah.
I didn't back the latest one because of that, because I was worried. I'm like, you know what? Now I didn't get the special editions. I'm sure the special editions were beautiful, but the regular ones were just like, I mean, they were done by digital printing, and it was just, you know, it's like I just felt if you're going to charge $70 for your book, then you really have to go above and beyond. I mean, that book, those two books cost as much as Land of Eam. That's all I have to say. And Land of Eam, it felt like, you know, you were getting a bargain, you know, like you were getting a bargain for that thing. And I felt like, wow, they really could have sold. These are $50 books at best. They're not $70 books. They're not even $60 books. Now I'm actually talking about the physical books of how they were printed and how they're made. And this is something no one notices except people like me.
But look at the good news.
But you do notice it in the end. You do.
All the big, huge games that were kind of in that post OGL, you know, overreaction type vibe, all came out this year. And so next year, when you produce Deathbringer, the coast will be clear.
It's true. It's true. It's going to be coast clear, baby.
You don't have anybody to compete with. You know,
I know. It's great.
Except for
DC-20.
Just sorry. You think that's the fact that you think that's coming out? No, I'm just kidding. To be clear, Deathbringer and DC-20 are operating in a very different, a very different realm.
We're so different in our realms. I would like to talk to MCDM. Here's the thing: is I love the concept of the game. I would like to. You've been on the VTT. I haven't been on the VTT. I should try it out.
Yeah,
I hear it's really good.
It's supposed to be amazing, and it's just in the beta.
Yeah, so. Well, that's where all their money went. Because as soon as they said they were doing their own VTT, as a professional software developer, I was like, oh boy. I said, I know where all their money's going, because that, you know, that's incredibly. It's even if it's cheap, it's expensive because it just takes so long.
Right.
That's Zeus.
That's Zeus.
Your doggy.
I'll go.
Your doggy. So, what are you doing tonight? What's anyone doing tonight for New Year's? Anything special?
Nothing. Not doing anything.
I'm not doing anything.
I'm just hanging out with this guy.
Oh,
thank you.
Oh, Zeus.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Cute. My doggy was just here, but she went to go get dinner.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Everyone say, what are you doing? Nothing. What are you doing? Nothing. Yeah. Nothing.
I mean, even if I had plans, like I said, I've got a foot of snow outside, so I'm not.
You know, I wanted to go see Stranger Things finale in the theater, but no one wanted to go with me, and I was like, I thought it'd be a lot of fun, but
Obviously, I didn't even watch season 4, so I'm that far behind.
I didn't finish. I didn't get up to season 5.
Season 5, they're saying. I mean, obviously, people are overreacting. Nothing will be worse than the final season of Game of Thrones. But people are going, "Oh, they Game of Throned it." You know, they're saying, they did not stick the landing. Is what they're saying.
Well, Game of Thrones. You know what? Actually, think about Game of Thrones. Is I mean, it's funny. Guess what? It's on right now. I'm actually watching it, and it's season 8. Actually, it's on right now. I knew it was going to happen. Various reasons. Blah blah blah. I won't get into it. But I have to give. What's her name? Emma. What's her name? Emma. What was the lead actress?
From which game?
Daenerys. What's her name?
Emilia Clarke.
Emilia Clarke. She had brain hemorrhages in her 20s, and she had to fight and she couldn't even read. I was like, you know what? I take it all back, because you don't hear about shit like that. Like, think about it. You're doing Game of Thrones. You have the most popular central actor of this entire thing, and she literally has brain aneurysm in her 20s and can't even speak or read. And what do you do? I mean, one of those, I think they had other problems going on that they had to deal with. That, and the show probably suffered for that. And, it's look it up, but she had real serious issues. And then it happened again. I mean, it's kind of stunning. She's major health problems. And these are the things you don't hear about, is that you just assume that everything goes peachy and everything's fine and smooth. But there's often a lot of problems. You hear that a lot in sports. If someone's not doing so well and everything's fine, and then the season ends and it's like, oh yeah, he had a broken thumb the whole season. Then you find out. That happens a lot of these things. It's like, oh, there was a problem with that show. There's a problem with this, problem with that. Because there could have been issues behind the scenes that you have no idea about.
Yeah, my relationship with Stranger Things is very different. It's very different from other people. Now, again, I didn't watch season 4. I've seen enough. I've read.
Season 4 was great.
And the thing is everything I've read about season 4 indicates to me that I probably wouldn't have loved it. And I like season 1, and then season 2 I thought was a drop in quality. But here's the thing: a lot of people hated season 3, and I thought season 3 was great. And I'll tell you why. Because all the reasons people said they like season 4 are the exact reasons I don't like it. Season 4 was big on the character development, and oh my God, Sadie Sink is such an amazing actress, and and season 3 with the stupid mall felt like a Goonies. It was like it was an 80s kid adventure movie, with them. They're forming their little, we're the Scoops troop, and we're gonna get together and we're gonna stop commies.
Can't
and
you just have fun?
Fight monsters in the mall.
Can't you just enjoy fun?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I thought it was great.
Oh,
I loved
you did
it.
like it. Yeah, I love that.
I'm saying season 3 is universally hated.
Well, here's the problem.
Because it was so. I loved it.
I'll tell you the problem.
It was like the Goonies.
Yeah, it was great. By the way, I'll tell you what the problem is.
Was Robin, Steve, Dustin, and Erica was my favorite. Yeah, the mall plot line was amazing.
You just explained it right there. The secondary characters have vastly overshadowed the main characters, both in acting and in storyline. And that is a problem, because it is written in their contracts that you have to have. You can't have the secondary characters having more screen time than the main characters.
My 4 least interesting characters in the show are 11, Will, Mike, the mom, and Hopper or whatever like that. I like because even the kids that aren't. And Lucas. I'd much rather see Lucas's sister, Erica. I think she's way better of a character. And then, Max is a way more interesting character. Robin's a way more interesting. Steve is now he's a main character, but he was basically a secondary character. He was supposed to be the bad guy, Steve, all those characters are way more interesting.
Steve is fantastic. Robin's fantastic. Robin's amazing. I love all that. Whenever the secondary characters come on, I'm like, yay! I can't wait to see what they're gonna do. And then the main characters are like, whatever. Yeah. It's
Well, but that's also the problem, is that you hire these kids at age 11, and then because your production takes 10 years, they're 21 years old, and maybe they didn't turn out to be great actors. Maybe they were a great actor for 11, and you hired them at age 11, and they worked well at age 11.
That they weren't great actors, is that they were able to take more risks with the secondary characters, so the stories are better. And then they couldn't figure out how to this happens a lot in these shows. It's very common, where like the main characters, they end up not having the best storylines because they have to be safer with them.
Yeah.
But I've not watched season 5. I heard a lot of people have issues with it.
I'm sure I'll never watch it, but
I'll watch it.
I mean, I do know that they're doubling down on the D&D because now they're going to the abyss.
That's right. That was the big thing. Well, that's why today's the last episode ever.
Yeah, whatever. I don't care.
Of Stranger Things. Hello, just got here. Have you already discussed games of 2025? Well, considering we started 2 hours and 34 minutes ago, yeah, we did talk about those.
Yeah.
What was your top 3? How about that? We'll end it with that because I do have to go a little while. Your top 3 favorite TTRPG moments. It could be anything. It could be watching me.
Yeah, I'll just focus on focus on products and stuff that we looked at. So I'll do that.
Because you looked at
Daggerheart.
Okay.
I looked at a lot. And again, I'm going to be doing my own sort of retrospective, review of everything that I covered this year. But for me, it was Daggerheart, Mythic Bastionland, and even though the game came out, so this is not really fair. The game came out a couple years ago. I didn't really get into the One Ring until this year, but it's kind of a weak answer because again, the game has been out for a while. But that was a pretty cool moment for me because again, it came out and I was kind of like, oh, that's kind of neat. So I'm going to say, let's see, newer. Daggerheart, Mythic Bastionland. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe,
Nimble?
No, I mean Nimble was really cool. I don't know that I would put it up there as being like so revolutionary for me that it like changed up the game. You know what? I will shout out Trespasser, which is an indie game that came out and he's been working on it for a while, and it's an OSR game. It's and nowadays it's combining everything. So it's OSR plus 4th edition.
No draw steal.
Which is pretty crazy. But it's a smaller press game.
Dragonbane, no draw steal.
Well, Dragonbane's older. Not draw steal. I mean, it's fine, but I'm not like over. I don't think it's incredible, in that way. So, but Trespasser has some really neat mechanics, and outside of all the cool mechanics of it, I think the one that's really, really stood out to me is this. What he has is called Shadows and Sparks, and it's a way to mechanize the exploration element of your game in a way that most people haven't really done. And I thought that was some really cool tech. And I'm certainly will be talking about that as well. But again, I was really impressed with Wilder Feast and Land of Eam, and shocking in a way that I didn't expect to it. I don't expect those games to be huge, and I'm not like dying to kill them or not dying to play them. But like, it is really cool that these games came out, and I thought it was really impressive. I'm impressed with Dolmen Wood. I'm impressed with Land of Eam. I love the hex crawl. I'd love to see us go that route. Western Reaches is sort of bringing that back. Maybe we'll get into some actually good hex crawls as well. Starfinder 2 was really impressive. The class design I thought was really great. Disappointments, I mean, in terms of like pure RPG, the biggest disappointment for me, for years, I have not been a Critical Role fan. And what I always used to say was, I don't understand why these people don't play a Powered by the Apocalypse game. And then, of course, the answer is because nobody cares. And it's 5e and they have to play 5e because that's what's popular. And I go, but watching these people play a PBTA game would be like amazing because that's what these systems are for. They finally make their own PBTA inspired-esque trad kind of game, which is like halfway between PBTA and halfway between 5e in Daggerheart. And I know there's all the logistics and the Baleem and all this other stuff, but then they don't run their campaign with it. That was probably for me the single biggest disappointment of 2025 in terms of pure role playing. Not only because I feel like it did kind of a little bit, put a little bit. Maybe it didn't put a bullet in the head, but it put an arrow in the knee of the game. I think that was a big stumbling block for it, especially when it was in that hype build-up momentum. And I know this, again, correlation is not causation, but we looked at the Google Trends, and you could see Daggerheart was scaling, and then they did their announcement of which game system was going to be campaign 4, and the interest to Daggerheart went down, way down. Now, they did play Daggerheart for a handful of sessions, and I agree, Cinnabos. I think they played it very poorly, and I was a little bit disappointed. I mean, I was disappointed with the whole shtick. I thought Matt GM'd it poorly, and I don't think I'm being mean when I say that, because Matt himself basically kind of came onto the Reddit and different things, and he says, "Yeah, I'm still learning how to play. I'm still, doing all this other stuff." So that the whole critical role, not Darrington Press, goated, but Dagger critical roles, interaction and reaction with the game, I think has been what was disappointing to me as a huge fan of the game, as a fan of the PBTA type philosophy, and just as a believer that seeing legitimately good actors, actresses, people with a story, a cinematic mind, a literary mind, a movie forward mind, take the helm of a game like that and run with it. I was so disappointed that they didn't do that. / when they did do it, they did it, in my opinion, poorly. So that was for me the biggest disappointment.
Yeah, I was very shocked. I mean, I'm not in retrospect, because think about it, like the pre-sales, they didn't know it was going to do this well. Like,
I know. I get it. I get it.
They were put in a really weird position, because it's like, oh my God, this thing is doing amazing. Everyone wants us to do it, but look, we're not going to. And then they tried to have their cake and eat it too, because
they tried to have their cake and eat it too.
Like, well, we're not going to play Critical Role. We're not going to play Daggerheart, but we're going to have all of our other channels play it. And it's like, but
that's even the other thing, is they were like, don't worry, other people are going to play it. And they were like, okay, they're doing a 1-shot. They're doing a 2-shots. And I'm like, that's not playing the game. Where's the, I mean, there were so many things that could have been done right. Daggerheart is a 10-level game. That means you level up 9 times. I think an appropriate amount of time to level up is probably, for me personally, it's between 2 to 3 sessions. But for them, it's probably, I imagine, between maybe 3 to 4 sessions. That means you could do a level, give or take, a month. That means you could run your whole game, and you could do it in 40 sessions and bring that out over the course of a year. You could do an entire story, and that makes it way more digestible for your audience. They have to see their own data that, like, by the time they get to episode 80, 90, 100, it's like in the tank. Like, nobody's going to sit there and like rejoin the, like, hey, I'm going to start watching this campaign.
Yeah, but episode 82. They're able to have their cake and eat it too in the end, because think about it. They're playing D&D, but then they get Crawford and Jeremy Crawford and Perkins. So they're like, and they are like, oh, we have a 3-year plan. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do play Daggerheart, but they do it next time. They do it their season 5. That they
I didn't say that it does. I'm not trying to make. I'm not an idiot. I don't understand that 5th edition isn't a better financial decision. I understand all of that. I just was disappointed personally. I want what I want.
I agree, but now I'm thinking that they're playing the long game. Like, in retrospect, I think they're probably right, is that for the very short term, it would have been very exciting. But I don't watch Critical Role, but everyone I've been reading and everything I've been seeing is that this has been phenomenal this season. Everyone had, like, in every aspect possible. So they're doing great. By the way, their animated series on Amazon.
Well, that's doing fantastic.
That is supposedly the second highest series on Amazon of all time. After Fallout. So, not Vox Machina, the other one.
The Mighty Nine.
Yeah, Mighty Nine. So, they are so set. Like, they have animated series. I won't even go into their video game, Dispatch, which has sold over 2 million copies and is, like, doing fucking phenomenal, which is also owned by Critical Role. Like, Critical Role is very quietly building a very big empire that will very easily, not even with much effort, challenge D&D. Will it challenge D&D directly? No, but will it be able to challenge it in all the other ways that matter? As in, we have multiple series on Amazon that are doing fantastic. We have multiple video games that are doing fantastic. We have podcasts that's doing fantastic. Videos that are the most popular, they're doing fantastic. Live shows. everything they do is doing amazing and doing fantastic. So they're going for the long haul. It's like, okay, we'll wait till there's more Daggerheart stuff out, give it a couple more years, and then we really push hard. And you got to think that D&D is like, they're paying attention, because if they have enough behind them, I think they can take them on and actually win. I really think they can. I know it sounds impossible, but
no, I mean, whatever, anything's possible. All I know is that for me personally, but if I want to get hot take, I can hot take, right? It's New Year's Eve. No one's watching. 200 people watching.
210 people.
I'm kind of glad.
Like and subscribe.
You ready to hear the thing? I'm kind of glad, maybe, that they didn't play.
Yeah,
because you know what?
I'm kind of curious. Makes them hungrier.
No, because I don't think they were doing a good job of highlighting how that game is supposed to be run.
Oh yeah, no, I agree.
Both players and the GM. Sorry to say, and I know. I mean, I'm sounding very elitist, and I'm sounding very, whatever, Derik. Well, yes, I am allowed to have my opinion. So, but I don't. The way that Matt ran Daggerheart, I don't think. And again, he was very self-admitted about this. But I think if you watched Matt run Age of Umbra and then said, "Oh, that's how I'm going to run my Daggerheart campaign," my personal belief is you're not doing it optimally. You could be still having fun. You can play something non-optimally and still have a great time, in which case it's great. But I think it's important that you do that. Hey, look at that! The alternate GM is here, and it's already 2026 over there in New Zealand.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. So, anyways, looking forward to it. But
what new things do you have? So I published 39 books this year. I'm trying so hard to get that over 52. 52 books is my goal for next year, at least.
Well,
one book a week.
My first stream of the year, which was New Year's, was live stream number 263. That was my first stream. And my last stream last night was stream number 395.
I don't know how many streams I have, but I do know it's a shit ton.
So
I'm like you. I can tell real quick.
I did 133 official live streams in 2025.
Okay. So your live streams are the equivalent of my published books. We've done Roll for Combat Live 267 times since I started it. So not quite as many as you, but I only do it once a week. And
right. And I usually do mine about like 2.7 times a week, although more since I lost my job. So there's that.
Yeah. I mean, we never miss a week. So it's at least you get 52 a week. Sometimes I do a little extra. So we usually get like 54, 55 a year.
Yeah.
That's about what we get for this.
So I mean, actually with 133 official, that averages out to 2.6 per week is what I averaged. And we had a couple of streams that weren't on the official list, and we had some videos as well. But generally speaking, 2.6, round up to 3. We're live 2 to 3 times a week. That's the key. And of course, we used to stream for 2 hours. Now we stream for like 3 to 4 hours every time. So hell, this stream went late, but that's because we didn't have racquetball. But I didn't have racquetball. But
I'm literally going to pack. So.
You have to pack, and I need to get something to eat. So I'm starting to get hungry.
We're going to have dinner. I'm sure we have some near something. Ugh. Yeah. I hate going away because when I go away, you know me. So when we're together, Derek's like, "Steve, do you have aspirin?" And I'm like, "Ta-da!" It's like, "Do you have a tissue?" "Ta-da!" "Do you have a screwdriver?" "Ta-da!" Like whatever you ask for, I had.
No, remember, I was already sleeping on the floor, so I was already, in the great. But then because of that terrible design bathroom, my toothbrush fell into the toilet, and I was like, "Oh, my toothbrush fell in the toilet." And you're like, "Oh, I have an extra toothbrush," and I was like, "Jesus."
Yeah, I know. I am so well prepared. I'm like Mr. Prepared. I have everything. But to be that prepared, it takes me a while to get everything. If you looked over here, I have my computer. I'm getting all my computers set up. I have my iPad set up. I had to get my phone set up to make sure I got everything. I, of course, have my Steam Deck because I need something to do on a beach because I'm going to be bored out of my mind. And I'm bringing all my accoutrements, and then I have to physically pack. The only good news is that since I am visiting my parents, I will have access to a washer and dryer, so I don't have to pack 2 weeks worth of clothes. I only have to pack really a week's worth because you can do a week and then, just wash it. There you go. But I had one question. How does the job search look for 2026?
Well, Midgar Press, I'm not homeless yet. So, I mean, I'm still kind of trying to do the whole, YouTube content creator as a career thing, while exploring potentially other options to make some additional funds and try to, keep things solvent. But, I'm giving it some time and I'm not in a super rush. I'm in a lucky, very blessed position where I have a large enough community, small but mighty, who support me through tips and Patreon and stuff like that, that I'm able to, stay afloat. I'm not like super duper in the red or anything like that. So I have time. Now, I mean, I wouldn't call it like a living in the sense that like, I'm comfortably saving money and putting away for a 401k and all of other stuff. But I am keeping my head above water. So that being said, right now, it's kind of really tough for a data scientist, unless you want to go work in the AI field, I suppose. For me to do job searching anyways. So, it remains to be seen, but you never know. Maybe I'll drop all my money and go rebuy all my woodworking equipment and start a woodworking shop again. Who knows? That always made me a lot of money. So
by the way, and this is the whole thing. I can go a whole thing on this. The AI bubble to pop. It's not popping. It's so heavily integrated into everything we do.
But yeah, there's a difference between is AI going away and is the AI valuation going away?
Yeah, I mean, AI is not going away. It's heavily integrated into everything at this point. And a lot of it is good. A lot of it is bad. But the pop would be if the valuation for these companies, and not anytime soon because they keep pumping themselves up.
Right. Well, that's what makes it a bubble, though, Stephen.
Yes and no, except.
They're just circle jerking each other off.
That's not really, because then you have but there actually is real value behind them.
None of these companies are profitable, so they're all propped up by funding. So,
but you know what? Doesn't matter. Look at Amazon. Amazon wasn't profitable. It took 20 years for them to get profitable, and now they're building.
Fair enough. But
there's a lot. Netflix wasn't profitable. There's a lot of these companies. They don't have to stay profitable. They have to become profitable before. Shine.
All I'm going to say is, in my lifetime, I was born in the early '80s. If I had to make one general statement, it would be, don't bet against tech.
No, never ever bet against tech.
Tech has always won in the end. Okay,
yeah, never.
And now there was a time and a place where you could just be free, and you were allowed to be free. And now you are a slave to your phone, and whether you want to admit it or not, you are. That thing goes with you everywhere you go. You do everything through it. You communicate, you laugh, you love, you share, everything. Your whole life is in that phone, and that didn't even exist. And so, and before that, computer. Do you remember when like the computer was just something that like was this fun little thing that was sat in the one corner of your house, or it wasn't even a thing at all? Yeah, so do I. And now your computer was your whole life. And now you carry it around with you constantly in your pocket, right? And so all these things just. Technology has always won, time and time again. Wins. I remember. Do you remember maps? Do you remember actually having to know where places were? You remember when that happened? When you had to know where someone was? I know people who don't even know where they live. They just use Google Maps to get home.
Hey, what about people who don't know phone numbers?
Right. Yeah. Or or people now, they don't even know where they live, but they also don't even drive themselves because their car drives them home. So it's like that. You just go, Siri, drive me home, and then it just drives you home. Mm-hmm. So, Paul, you said never bet against tech. My .com bubble disagrees. Why? Did the internet go away? Did websites go away?
Hey, that was the best. That .com bubble was fantastic because I was able to buy Amazon at $9 a share back then. That was great. I loved it on that.
Yeah, I've heard that more millionaires were made from the .com bubble bursting.
Yes.
than anything. Yeah.
Oh yeah. By far. Because actually, I was live. I was building websites at the time because that went out of it burst because there was a rush of IPOs for companies that had no products, and now there's no IPOs. And I can go in this. So my dad does IPOs. I do IPOs. I do private investing. I do hedge fund investing, all that stuff. They are so back then, like Oh, I literally had someone who was going to bring my company public by doing putting it into a shell company. Like they were going to reverse shell and make my company public. I did nothing. Okay. And they were going to make my company public. That's what was happening. And so all those companies went burst because they did nothing. But now, think about that, me. Like, it was like, that's how crazy it was. They're like, oh, yeah, let's make you a public company. And I could have done it. I was going to lose 60% of the company. That was the only reason I didn't do it, is because I didn't want to lose 60% of my company. But, and I would have been part of that. And they all became penny stocks and they all went out of business. But now, if you want to put an IPO, these banks are so careful that they will not put in an IPO unless they are guaranteed billions of dollars. Before they were guaranteed pennies. Like if you got $1 million, they were happy. It's like, no, are we getting less than $50 billion? Then we're not even bothering. They're not even bothering with the IPOs. So that's the difference.
Paul Branson, that's not 100% true, because you forget that the Fed injects money into the thing. So yes, technically inflation does happen, but the fiscal policy of the country has been to print more money. So yes, money can appear out of nowhere. So it's not a zero-sum game. It's not like for someone to get rich.
Does appear out of nowhere, like
because the increase of the GDP from increased productivity.
Well, they also when they make money, like it's all a lot of the money made in computers is digital, and they don't print any of it. It's just numbers.
Well, regardless, Pumpkin said he's like, I can't get home if my phone dies. I was legit lost for 3 hours from home because my phone died. I had to go to a Walgreens and buy a charger.
I remember I almost lost my phone at Gen Con, and and
you were like,
panic attack.
My whole life is over. Everything is on that phone. I don't know how to get home. I don't have a plane tickets, my apps, everything. And then I found it under the chair.
But I was literally like, if I didn't find it, it was literally going to be you and me going to Apple and buying a new phone and restoring it. Because that's how bad it was.
And just little things. Like I remember when I was learning to drive, and my dad was teaching me how to drive, and he was teaching me how to pump my brakes. And then I remember going to driving school, and they were like, don't pump your brakes. They're like, the car will do that for you. It's called anti-lock brakes.
Yeah.
And now you can't. Now people are like, pump your brakes. I'm like, yeah. When you in order to avoid skidding, you had to pump your brakes. Now slam down as hard as you can, and the car will go.
Right. It does the anti-lock.
Which it does it way better than you. Yep. So just even the littlest, tiniest things.
There's so much you can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Hell, even airplanes.
I remember my first car.
Airplanes.
I remember my first car. My first car was a 1988 Plymouth Sundance, and it didn't have. It didn't have any like cruise control or anything like that. Then I remember my second car, and it had cruise control. It was so cool. And then I remember my third car had lane assist or something. And then my fourth car has, the thing where it can, it's got cameras on it, and it'll auto brake, and it'll keep you away from other cars. And if I did get a fifth car, which my car is, now almost, 8 years old, I'm sure it would just drive itself. So it's like every car I've had, and I don't know how to drive a stick shift. Because I never had to learn. All my cars were just automatic.
I've never driven stick.
Yeah, so it's just that progression of I know how to do it in theory. I know how a clutch works. But,
yeah, I know how to do it in theory.
But
I'm sure anyways, cranking that thing like crazy.
I'd be grinding the shit out of the gears, I'm sure.
Shit out of it. So, all right, enough about fiscal policy and AI.
Enough about fiscal policy and AI and all that. And doom and gloom. Always good here. You know what? Ignore all of this and let's live in our communal fantasy, and let's play Muppets X Lord of the Rings and a hex crawl, and go play Land of Eam, or get really excited about Derik's stupid idea to run a Wilder Feast mega game, so you can go hunt monsters and eat them and gain their special powers. I mean, I want to just because it's stupid.
I would love to do that. Are you kidding? That's fantastic. That's the only one I don't have right now. If anyone wants to get me something, give me Elder Feast. I don't have it. I actually do want to buy that.
The special edition, which I don't have, but the special edition even came with an apron to wear when you're GMing.
That's genius. That's the type of stuff I would do. That's great. It's fun, but no one buys it. No one does it. It's like he comes to you like, cool. You never use it, but it's fun.
So Beowulf says, can you play an Eldamon trainer in the Land of Eam? Not currently, but I mean, I'm sure you could.
Sure, it's not that hard. I'm sure we could.
I mean, the one class called the Dungeoneer, you start off with an intern, it's like a underling. It's like an intern, and the class, at 9th level, you finally get health insurance. That's literally what it's called.
Oh my god.
The game is very tongue-in-cheek. It's very not serious. It's very whimsical.
Yeah, that's too much into my own world. I don't want to see that.
No, that's what we're all saying. We're like, cuts deep.
That's too deep. I'm like, I don't want to remember. I don't want to be reminded about health insurance in my Land of Eam world.
All right.
All right.
Well, I hope everybody has a safe, happy New Year's, or maybe it's already New Year's Day where you're at. Stay safe out there, folks. Steve, I hope you have a good trip to Florida. Safe flight.
We'll see. And by the way, next week I will not be here, but I presume you will do it with Mark, I hope.
I'm hoping. I mean, I should be around. I'm around most of this month. Like I said, I'm going on an Emo's Not Dead cruise at the end of the month from my other sugar daddy. Steven Glicker's my first sugar daddy. And then my buddy Larry is my other sugar daddy. And he just got a new job out in Silicon Valley, and so he bought us tickets to go to the Emo Not Dead cruise, which we're excited to go. Well, emo is a type of music popularized from the early 2000s.
Is it emo? Okay. What bands are going to be there? Is what I'm really
a bunch of emo bands.
Oh, I love emo bands.
And you know, but it's emo themed. It's the whole thing. So, anyways, awesome. I'll be doing that at the end of January.
You need to take pictures. I need to see what that looks like. Are you gonna? I need to see you wear all black.
No. It's not seen. We're not seen. Like, it's not seen. It's going to be a bunch of, it's going to be a bunch of 30 and 40-year-olds all wistfully remembering what it was like 20 years ago. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah. All the emos. It's all going to be a bunch
of old people being like, woo. Pumpkin says, Derek, how do I get all these sugar daddies? What's your secret? I don't know. Pumpkin. Unlucky in love, lucky in sugar daddies. I guess that's my thing. Because you know who my OG sugar daddy was? Smith.
That's true.
When I was in college, I went to school, locally. I went to Case Western, which is down the street. So I stayed in my hometown area. And Smith didn't go to school. He went and he had got basically a sick offer. And they basically said, hey, do you want to run our tech department? And he said, sure. So Smith was making crazy money right out of high school, like, really good money. And I was a broke college student. And so Smith he'd be like, hey, you want to get lunch? I'm like, oh, I can't, I gotta buy gas, and he'd be like, oh, that's cool. I got you. And but that was like every day, and so Smith spent thousands and thousands
we like
of dollars.
Hanging out with Derik so much that we pay for the privilege of hanging out with Derik.
And then when I graduated college, I had a lot of credit card debt from maxed out credit card debt. And I wanted to refinance and get it all put under one thing. And Smith co-signed. I didn't have any credit. And Smith co-signed my consolidation loan with my, whatever.
Just as we're about to leave, a big super chat comes in. How can a small indie game company protect themselves from a larger studio releasing a rehashed version of the original studio's work without also angering customers by having a more restrictive license?
You can't. You can't copyright game mechanics.
You can't copyright game mechanics. You get a patent, or you first of all, I wouldn't worry about it. Like, why would they do that? I wouldn't worry that much about it, to be honest. And if you put a lot of lore into your game mechanics, and you put a lot of proper nouns into your game mechanics, and just those are not copyright. Those you own. Those are your copyright. So like, you can take Battlezoo content and put it into your games as long as you credit us, but you can only put in the feats and the mechanics, and that's it. Nothing else. So you can't put in any names, any lore, anything else. And
Commander Snookums, if you want a really good example of this, check out Land of Eam. So Land of Eam is
literally just thinking of that.
Yeah, so Land of Eam
is like hand in hand.
It's a generic. It's a generic game, right? Except the game mechanic itself highly references the Land of Eam. Like the Mucklands and the regions. And so to play the game just by stripping out the mechanics, you're leaving a lot on the table. Yep. And so I think that's like a great example of that. Is kind of integrating. I think Steven's point is right on. Integrate your setting, integrate your lore in a very kind of over the top way that feels cool and seamless. So that I know a lot of people, for example, who go, oh, I love the mechanics of this, but I can never imagine using these mechanics for anything other than the One Ring. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of mentality that you want to have, I think. Whereas opposed to creating something super duper generic, and being like literally as generic as it gets, and then being like shocked when somebody just takes your mechanic,
Yeah, and then this way you don't have a restrictive license. And then if people who want to develop in your world, you basically just say in the book, because I get this a lot, people writing me saying, hey, I would like to develop something using these mechanics or your lore or this world aspect.
Then you could just
and then you say yes or no. Then you do it piecemeal.
one off.
Yeah, one-offs. And then I say, sure. And I say, okay, but but I also give them rules saying, yes, but this is all you can do. And you have to put in these copyrights. And then they respect them.
That, did you see there's a Kickstarter coming out next year?
So that's your answer, by the way. You have to marry your proper nouns to your mechanics. And once that's in there, they can't take that.
You're going to have a little competition next year.
Me?
Sort of. Yeah. Because there is a game coming out. It's in one of those like pre-backet, I think.
There's a lot of competition for me. What's this one?
It's called.
You're making me upset. We're almost out.
I don't know the name of it.
That's great. Can't wait. What is it? What's the genre? Give me at least a hint.
Okay, got it. Titanbound. It's launching in February 2026. It is Shadow of the Colossus for Shadowdark. I just saw this the other day. It's not active yet. It's one of those like sign up to be active for it. You put that on your radar. Need to put that on your radar. Titanbound is a fantasy RPG sourcebook, 100% compatible with Shadowdark RPG. It blends classic dungeon crawl danger with vertical traversal mechanics and the desperate cinematic feel of hunting titanic, unstoppable monsters. Yeah. Climb the Titans, cities under siege, new classes, epic lore.
Cool.
But just saying, Shadowdark, it's
going to get
blooming its own community.
That's why
it's blooming its own community.
That's why I had to be first to market.
I'm just saying, February 2026 is going to be a couple Shadowdark stuff on the market there.
Yeah, but my books they're getting close. As I said, I mean, let's see. One of my books is I'm doing the layout. I mean, I keep putting out pages. I showed some pages, and most of the monsters are mostly done. Most of the classes are done. Monster parts is I'd say about 90%. I'd even say 93% of all the writing is done for all 3 books. So unfortunately, 100% of the writing is not done for any one book because of the way we're doing it. Because like we have multiple writers and they're each doing silos and they're not finishing their silos in the right order. And we're going weird order. We're doing book 3 first, and then book 1, and then book 2. So it's it sounds lame. Me?
No.
Vertical transversal sounds horrible.
No, it's not. It's not climbing. It's vertical traversal.
Hard vertical is to do. That's why no one does swimming. It's like it's such a nightmare. Hey man, do whatever you want. Maybe they'll figure it out. But I got lots of dungeons, lots of stuff, and we're actually going to have all of our dungeons. So 5 of our dungeons. You can play level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. Shadowdark dungeon from Battlezoo at GaryCon. So if you go to GaryCon, you'll be able to play all the we have 15 Shadowdark dungeons coming out. You'll be able to play 5 of them at GaryCon. I might even play. I'm going to have a lot of free time. I'm probably going to play a couple of them just to see how they play. That's how sick it is. I will play with you. And there
you go. You can see the man, the myth, the legend, roll all the 20s yourself.
Oh God. You can play with me. You're going to come with me, Derik. I'll get you in one of those games too. Sure. I know the man. No one believes it until it's like they don't believe it until it happens to them, and then they realize, holy shit, it really does happen.
No,
you've seen it. You've seen it more times than you can count.
Many times.
That Oath game.
Yeah. I mean, Oath game. The dice tower at the booth.
Yeah.
Playing Avatar.
Oh, Avatar was
PBT.
crazy.
I mean, everything. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
The only thing, like you said, you can't play a roll low game.
Your powers I told you I played a roll low game and I rolled 3 17s in a row. I was texting you when that happened, and I was like, "Come on!"
You're like, we need to play a different game.
No, I can't play those because I only roll high.
Yeah, so Chicory. So yeah, I'd say no Dragonbane for Steven. Chicory.
No. Yeah, I can watch Steven break his own game. It's true.
Yeah.
Would I do that? Would I break my own game? Damn.
Of course you wouldn't be able to resist yourself.
I couldn't resist. I'd have to. Yeah. I have to. But then I would fix it. That's the thing.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You wouldn't just be like,
I break it, but for the point of fixing it. I break my own games to make them better.
Right. There you go.
Not to just do it for the hell. I'll say, wow, that broke. And then I'll literally write down why it broke, how to fix it. And then I'll go back and rewrite it and fix it. Just like I did when Derik pointed out in the review of a mistake in my book. And I fixed it right away.
Yeah.
And you guys couldn't believe it.
We could not believe it. It earned our respect. And that's how this whole shebang got started.
It all started with me saying, you know what? They're right. And then I fixed it right.
That's a big thing. That's a big step.
I know.
All righty, folks. Thank you again for a great year, and really appreciate hanging out with you all here on Roll for Combat. Again, look, if you want to check us out, I'm going to be doing a more comprehensive dive into some of these topics. We have a couple of award ceremonies or award categories that we're going to be doing. Best mechanic, best art, best layout. We're going to have a little bit of a structured process. So. Of course, it's completely biased. It's just my takes, and chat. We'll maybe do some polls, because there's no prize. The points are made up, and the winner's made up, and the points don't matter. So the prize, and there's no prizes. So totally
no prize. The prize is the friends you made along the way.
Exactly. So thanks everybody for a great year.
Yeah, it was a fun, interesting year, and I can't believe it's over already. And now we get to start all over again.
Right. And remember, if you want to ring in the new year, first, you have to roll for combat.
Roll for combat.